the Movie and Television Review and Classification Board for fiscal year 2023 is now called to order. I would like to thank the presence of my colleagues in today's budget hearing, Senator Robin Padilla, who also chairs the Committee on Public Information in the Senate, and also Senator Nancy Binay, the chairman of the Committee on Tourism, among others. Ano pang isang committee mo? And so before we call on the MTRCB to make their presentation, may I ask the committee secretary to read for the record the agency representatives who will present their budget for the committee's consideration. I would also like to acknowledge the very low-key, kaya hindi ko napansin, low profile, Senator Raffy Tulfo.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Dati, si Senator Tulfo yung ngayon, kayo na ang babantayan ni Senator Tulfo. Iba nga na, bilog ang mundo, no? Okay. Secretariat, please read the names of our resource persons. Alam mo, Senator Tulfo, nung panahon nyo kasi, strict talaga yung chairman noon, yung
Yes.
2013. Ngayon, mabait na yung chairman.
Super mabait siya. Madam Chair, she's very okay.
But actually, mas strict yan sa akin. Mukha lang mas mabait. Okay,
Yes, ma'am. Okay, good morning, ma'am. Thank you. For the MTRCB, the Movie and Television Review and Classification Board, we have Chairperson Diorela Maria Soto Antonio, together with Attorney Mamarico L. Sansarona Jr., Attorney Cyrus Ann A. Nang Santiago, Attorney Anne Marie Nemenso, and Ms. Erlinda D. Tirado.
so welcome to the Senate. I'm sure this is very familiar to you when your dad's been here for so many years. We are the friendly panelists here. So maybe we can ask if you have any presentation for your budget.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning to our senators. Good morning po sa inyong lahat. I am pleased to present before you the post-annual budget of the Movie Television Review and Classification Board for the year 2023. Can we show the presentation? Thank you very much. This is the 2023 MTRCB budget. Our vision, the Movie and Television Review and Classification Board envisions to be of service to the Filipino public as a movie and television regulatory board, not only confined in review and classification, but as a bridge between the Filipino audience and the film and TV industries under a culture of discerning viewership and age-appropriate media and entertainment. The agency envisions to be of partners with its stakeholders, embracing the both creative freedom and responsibility for them to effectively use our classification ratings as a tool in protecting the Filipino viewers, especially the children, from exposure to unnecessary materials. Our mission for the public is to bring awareness, the significance of our classification ratings. It is not just some advisory that more often parents or other responsible adults take for granted. Since we cannot be in every household, these advisories serve as a reminder to them to be wary of the materials and be able to responsibly discern if they want their children to be exposed to such. Part of our mandate, aside from regulating the industry, is to initiate plans and cooperate with the industry and introduce innovative and fresh ideas toward its improvement and development. We then engage our stakeholders and build good relations with them to cultivate a culture of cooperation and shared responsibility. We ensure that our employees are equipped with sufficient tools to be able to deliver excellent service to our stakeholders. We send them to seminars to keep them updated with the new rules and regulations being implemented. We have team building to develop camaraderie among them, and we give recognitions to boost their morale. Because we believe that when our employees are happy, they become better public servants. Our primary mandate is to review and classify films and television programs, including the publicity materials for both video and non-video. We promote an environment of partnership and collaboration with the film and TV industries, which will lead to authentic and responsible self-regulation. We also continue to implement policies that assist the industry. When we monitor a program containing content beyond the limitations of its classification rating, we call the attention of the network as well as the creative team to address the concern. Since we now implement best practices at the end of the conference adjudication, we encourage the network or the persons behind the program to come up with self-regulatory measures to avoid similar incidents. To ensure compliance of our stakeholders, we conduct monitoring activities with regard to the registration of entities engaged in the movie and television industry, and the content being broadcasted by the said registered entities. Aside from being a regulatory agency, we are also a developmental agency. It is also our mandate to protect Filipino viewers, especially the young children and other vulnerable sectors in the context of media and entertainment. The Matalinong Panonood is our flagship program in performing our developmental function. Since we are a small agency, we brought it upon ourselves to bring MTRCB to other places and down to the grassroots and to make them aware that the classification ratings serve as a guide to parents and responsible adults to ensure that the materials they expose their children to are age appropriate. The next slides will show you how we are performing this year, 2022, through our major final outputs. The MTRCB, pursuant to Section 3 of the Presidential Decree number 1986, is mandated with the power to review and classify movie, television materials, and other related publicity materials, to supervise, regulate, and grant, deny, or cancel permits for importation, exportation of films and television materials. Under the law, all entities under its jurisdiction must register with the MTRCB, such as film producers, television outfits, theaters, local cable television operators, importers, and exporters. From January to June 2022, MTRCB has reviewed and classified 89 films, 69 of which are foreign films, while 20 are local films. Out of 20 local films, 16 films are mainstream, while 4 are independent. In terms of the classification given by the board, majority of the films are rated PG, which are 61 films. Next is R8, R13, 18 films. Rated G, 6 films. R16, 3 films. R18, 1 film. No film was classified as X so far. The slideshow is a comparative table of the number of films classified from 2019 to 2022. We started off with 2019 having 548 films. By 2020, there was a decrease of 69.53%, having only 167 films reviewed and classified. One of the major reasons for this downward pattern was due to the national lockdown caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Year 2021, 75 films were reviewed and classified. This was another 55% decrease from the previous year. With regards to TV programs, the board has reviewed and classified 53,195 television programs. Majority of the programs were given a rating of PG, 47,342 of them. Looking at the trend on the number of reviewed and classified TV programs, there was a decrease of 34.12% from 2019 to 2020. However, there was a 3.35% increase from 2020 to 2021. In terms of video and non-video materials, the board has reviewed 100 trailers or video publicity materials and 482 non-video publicity materials. The slide shows a comparative table for both reviewed and classified trailers and non-video materials.
Madam Chair, I think your slides are not compatible with your statement. So who is in charge of this? Secretariat ba natin? O,
We are on page 14.
so ngayon, pwede na. Pero kanina hindi eh. So hindi namin,
Yeah.
okay. So, continue. We'll see what this is.
Page 14 po. Review and classification.
Ayan, we're there. Okay. So we're here in trailers. G66, PG29, X5.
Next, they are on page 12. We are on page 14.
Okay.
Yes. Type of business, correct. Regarding the registration of entities engaged in the movie and television industries, the table shows the number of entities registered with the MTRCB from 2019 to 2022 comparatively. A big number were from the registration of cable television, and next was theater. The alternative dispute resolution process enforced by the board encourages parties to explore whether the dispute can be resolved by agreement rather than by a formal proceeding. It involves a meeting between the parties, leading to an apology offered by the respondent, and accordingly participates in the creation and adoption of self-regulatory measures to prevent a recurrence of the incident in the future. For the developmental activities, next slide please. The Matalinong Panonood para sa Pamilya at Lipunan ni Juan at Juana campaign is a flagship project of the MTRCB which aims to empower parents and responsible adults, even kasambahays, to determine the media and entertainment their children see. This enables the ordinary Juan and Juana in the understanding and appreciation of the ratings and classification system for film and television. MTRCB conducts various matalinong panonood para sa pamilya ni Juan at Juana Forum and media literacy seminars in key areas all over the country to heighten public awareness on its revised classification system for films and television programs, as well as to inform the public of the recent programs and
Madam
activities.
Chair, I'm sorry. May I remind our guests to please tone it down? We are still conducting a hearing right now and there's a presentation going on. If you cannot keep your tone down, please step out. Meron pa rin maingay doon ah. Lumabas muna kayo kung meron kayong diskusyon. Go ahead, Madam. I'm sorry for the disruption.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is also in line with the mandate and the goal of the agency to empower the public and to protect the welfare of the viewers. And as mentioned earlier, especially for the children, women, PWDs, elders, as regards the media and entertainment they see. We proceed to the accomplishments. Next slide, please. from 2021 to 2022, online payment, the MTRCB, and PayMaya, together with the Bureau of Treasury and the Development Bank of the Philippines, inked a memorandum of agreement last 23 September 2021, allowing the use of PayMaya's digital services. These services include online checking out using credit or debit card, bills payment with PayMaya's mobile application, one point of sales terminal, and QR code payment. The partnership also covers the payment of client service fees and the deposit of collected fees and other payments to the DBP. All collections and payments that are made in and deposited through PayMaya will be remitted to the BTR MTRCB PayMaya clearing account. And now the fruit of this partnership has transpired last April 4, 2022, as we have officially launched the online payment facility of MTRCB. Freedom of Information Awards 2021. The MTRCB was awarded by the Presidential Communications Operations Office Freedom of Information Project Management Office as its 2021 FOI champion, placing second runner-up in the agency's, bureaus, commissions, councils category last 25 November 21 at Radisson Blu Hotel in Cebu City. This marks the back-to-back win streak for the MTRCB, as it was also recognized by the award-giving body as an FOI champion first runner-up in 2020. Anchored upon upholding the Filipino people's constitutional right to information, the MTRCB used as an inspiration the challenges posed by the COVID-19 in improving its transparency initiatives. Among the agency's proudest accomplishment is its FOI Productive Disclosure page in its official website, mtrcb.gov.ph, freedom of information. The institutionalization of the said web page allows all MTRCB web visitors to view frequently asked questions about the FOI program. MTRCB FOI one-page manual, top requested FOI data, requests from the MTRCB, and the responses provided by the agency to previous information, requesters, and a link to the electronic FOI. Above all, MTRCB website visitors may also search through the same webpage film and TV ratings that had undergone review and classification of the board already. Accomplishments of 2022. As a developmental agency, we conduct seminars to our different stakeholders, the viewing public, and our regulated entities. It is our goal to ensure that all of our stakeholders will be able to effectively use our classification ratings as a tool in protecting the children from exposure to unnecessary materials. We have conducted matalinong panonood activities in several provinces, and we have different audiences too. However, in March 2020, as the nation experienced a national lockdown due to the COVID-19, the developmental activities of the agency were greatly affected. This pandemic has been a major challenge for the MTRCB's developmental functions. On a positive note, this has driven the agency to look into it as an opportunity to tailor fit its programs to address not only its mandate to empower the Filipino family, but also to provide an appropriate and meaningful response. And for this year, we have started to conduct our first Matalinong Panonood webinar from the MTRCB deputies. The webinar aims to discuss to the deputies the works and functions of MTRCB and different movie and TV ratings, their duties and responsibilities, and the procedures on how to submit their reports using the deputy online portal.
Madam Chair, can we fast forward to whatever accomplishments and then let's get right to the budget?
Thank you, Madam Senator. I would like to proceed to the budget itself because it would
Because I'm sure later on we'll have the questions
Yes.
ready for you. So we will go back to all of those accomplishments and challenges, etc.
we can proceed directly to the budget proposal, Madam. And so here's the budget proposal for 2023. This is the revenue collection for the year 2021. In 2021, the target income of MTRCB was 65,331,000. However, its actual collection reflected a total of 97,116 million. Actual revenue is higher by 48% from its revenue target. As you can see, the majority of the revenue is collected from TV reviews, which is 74,755,675. And then the movie reviews. For the revenue collection as of July 18, 2022, so this is just half of 2022, the target income of 90 million was based on the revised income set by the DBM last July 2022. So our total revenue as of July 18 is 56,130 and 73.74 with an accomplishment rate of 62%. Summary of the budget. Next slide, please. The actual obligation for the fiscal year 2021 is a total of 74.771 million with utilization rate of 69%. The approved fiscal year 2022 budget of MTRCB is a total of 118 million ba? No? 118,947,000. The table above shows minimal increase for the personnel services in the fiscal year 2023 proposed budget. Compared to the fiscal year 2022, the increase of 4.931 million in fiscal year 2023 is the adjustments made by the DBM due to the salary standardization law and as per updated government management information systems of HR unit of MTRCB as of December 31, 2021, following the commonly accepted budget projection based on forward estimates and the approved MOOE budgets for the fiscal year 2023 have no additional or no increases in their respective allotments. However, there is no budget for the capital outlay as recommended by the DBM for new proposal and the expansion of ongoing existing programs, projects considered as Tier 2 of MTRCB for fiscal year 2023. The total proposed budget for the fiscal year 2023 is a total of 111,931 million. Only the PS or the personal services in the total amount of 47,538 million is sourced from the national government. The remaining amount of 64,393 million is sourced from the agency's collected income.
Okay, let's go to your wish list. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge that one of the few agencies that actually remit money back to the National Treasury is the MTRCB. Even if it's considered a small agency, you're still contributing. And in fact, just to inform also our fellow senators in case you missed it, what they're actually only asking for is for personal services.
Opo.
The rest comes from their income. Now, from our initial meeting, what I understand is that you weren't given a capital outlay budget,
Yes.
correct? So, and you explained to me, Madam Chair, that you actually need some to upgrade your equipment for reviewing. So, in the amount of about, was it less than 15 million?
Yes, madam.
15 million. Mas malalaki pa yung mga folders na binibigay sa atin ng ibang agency. Anyway, so 15 million. You were suggesting that it be taken from your sinking fund.
Yes.
Okay, explain to us here what a sinking fund is. Attorney Menso or Chair, whoever.
Madam, I'd like to acknowledge our head for our budget officer, Miss Early.
Sige, kwento mo sa
Tirado.
amin na meron pala kayong pagkukunan, di ba? Pero sino ang nag-authorize kung pwede ninyong gamitin yan o hindi?
Yes, ma'am. Our request for MOOE and capital outlay ay kinukuha po namin sa aming sinking fund. And upon request with the DBM po, sila po ang nag-approve at nag-authorize to use po yung ang sinking fund.
Magkano yung sinking fund ninyo ngayon?
Sa ngayon
Yung
po, ma'am, as of
balance.
August 31, 2022, the cash from the treasury account for the sinking fund amounted to 570,147,239.
Is that something from your income?
Yes, ma'am.
That you put? Tapos
Unutilized
15
income.
million, hindi, ayaw kayo i-approve?
Yes, ma'am.
Ay, di bale. Pwede naman ano yan. Okay. So, and tell me exactly what you want to use this amount for, the 15 million.
15 million is for our monitoring equipment, ma'am, to be used by our monitoring inspection unit in the monitoring of television, various cables.
Kasi luma na.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Pero maganda, compared to other government agencies, maayos yung equipment ng MTRCB at least. So let's keep it that way. Let's improve it. I fully support your request. I think that's justified. Just give us an accounting of exactly where it's going to go. And I will endorse it to the DBM, the DBM secretary, and hopefully they will heed our request. We won't go into technical details because I think that you've properly accounted for your budget. And in fact, again, only a small amount is being asked of the national government. The rest is from you already. So that's no issue there. But my colleagues here might have questions about your operations and also your classifications, etc. Go ahead.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
do we have our representative from DBM? Online.
Online?
We can ask them. What
Oh,
was the
DBM. Yeah, we
basis-
have a DBM rep here. Sino si DBM dyan?
What was the basis for not approving your request?
Baka kulang lang sa follow-up. Baka, DBM, turn on your camera, please.
Ma'am, to answer din po, actually, ma'am, we have coordination with the DBM and they will support naman daw po our request as long as we always have all the supporting requirements. And also, ma'am, yung implementation po kasi ang gusto nilang issure na talagang mai-implement namin siya once they will release the fund for the purchase of this equipment.
Madam Chair, recognize.
Thank you, madam. I would like to also add to that. This proposed budget for the year 2023 was submitted in April 2022, wherein I was not yet the MTRCB chairman. And so the projects and programs that I would like to do and create only came in when I came in July 25.
But Madam Chair, di ba as much as possible sana yung DBM, wag naman sila magzi-zero ng capital outlay. Kasi di ba, pag zero yung capital outlay, even if you have funds, hindi mo pwedeng i-augment yon because kumbaga that it does not exist. So sana nga medyo tigilan na rin ng DBM yung practice nila na nagzi-zero sila ng capital outlay because I think naman there will always be a need to procure equipment dun sa mga various agencies. Ayun lang pa. And then siguro question lang, what happens dun sa 540 million
It's just there.
sinking funds? So,
It just stays there until we request that it be utilized by the agency.
so kayo lang ang pwedeng gumamit niyan. The
Opo.
national government cannot use it for other programs.
Opo.
Does it earn interest?
Wala naman siya interest.
It does?
Wala pong interest.
Pero
It just
masayang
stays
naman
there,
na
kaya
natutulog
kailangan
yung
talaga
540
ma-utilize.
million yun.
Ganun pala kalaki, ha? Nung ako ba, gaano kalaki yung...
Sama rin po, I think, yung time ni Senator po.
Mike,
It started po, 2012 po yung ating sinking fund, ma'am. During your time po.
during my time,
Kaya bago po kayo umalis.
So,
Siguro-
magkano nun? Magkano nun?
baka 100,000 lang. Ang laki na, ha? From
Yes,
that
ma'am.
time. 540 million from 20... Wow.
570 million,
Good
147,000.
job, guys. I'm so proud of you, 2012.
Or siguro, okay, pero Madam Chair, siguro baka magandang pag-aralan kung paano mas madali ma-access ng MTRCB yung funds na yan, di ba?
Opo.
Kasi parang, pera nyo naman yan, pero parang dumadaan kayo sa butas ng karayom. When technically, it's your money.
Galing, okay. So, I think we have, Senator Padilla has a question about the scope of your mandate.
Magandang tanghali po, mahal na tagapangulo at sa lahat po ng kasama po natin ng mga senador at sa lahat po ng ating mga isa pong karangalan namin ang maging bisita po namin ang MTRCB dahil kami, lalo na po ako yung taga-pelikula. Nabuhay na po ako at sumarap ang buhay ko sa pelikula. Bagamat maraming pelikula ko ang na-classify dyan na hindi naman X. Palaging sa violence lang naman. Ma'am, ako po maligayang maligaya sapagkat sa tagal ko 1 buwan mahigit, magdadalawang buwan dito sa Senado, ngayon lang ako nakarinig ng isang ahensya ng gobyerno na kumikita. Yan po, nakakadagdag sa high blood pressure ko yun. Pati yung may kausap dito, laging nalulugi, laging wow. Ngayon, masayang-masaya ako. At taga-pelikula. May kinalaman sa pelikula. At napakasarap ng pakiramdam. Ngayon, ma'am, mahal na taga-pangulo, meron pong mga tanong ang mga taga-radyo. Alam ko, nakausap niyo na po siya personal, ano? At si Tito Ray Langit, isa siyang legend na sa radyo. Meron siyang concern na idinulog sa ating magandang tagapangulo naman ng MTRCB. Ang sabi ni Ray Langit, ang inyo daw pong mandato ay hindi nararapat saklawan ng radyo. Ano po ang sagot po ni dito? Huwag niyo na pong gayahin si Tito Ray.
Maraming salamat po, Senator. Honestly, anything that you exhibit on television falls under the jurisdiction of MTRCB, including teleradyo. So kapag po ang isang radio station ay magpapakita at the same time ng excerpts or anything they would like to televise during their radio show, ito po ay nasasaklawan ng MTRCB. Opo, yun.
Opo, maliwanag po yun. Kasi tele, tele,
Opo.
Opo.
Except for straight news, yan ang hindi na kinakailangan.
Yung ano pa? Yung?
Straight news, kapag news lang, walang public affairs. Yan po ay hindi na kinakailangan mag-register or at humingi ng permit.
Okay. Yung pong, halimbawa po ba, ito mga tanong lang to, mama. Baka isumbong mo pa ako sa daddy mo, ha? Anong lang to?
Masabuti pa po yung para po hindi managan ng lahat.
Yung po bang mga TikTok, yung po YouTube, yung po bang mga yan, saklaw po ba yan ng MTRCB?
Maraming salamat po, Senator Padilla, sa inyong katanungan dahil ito po ay nagbubukas ng isang pintuan sa isang gusto rin po naming busisiin at kinakailangan po ng mahaba at maraming pananaliksik. Sa kasulukuyan po hindi po kasali ang TikTok dahil po sila po ay nasasaklaw under ng online streamers. At kinakailangan po namin ng malinaw na guidelines sa ating presidential decree na PD 1986 ay ginawa pa po noong 1985, which is the MTRCB Charter. This is what the MTRCB follows, and during this time, they were limited to motion pictures and television programs. Kanya hindi pa po kasama ang online streaming sa MTRCB.
Mahal na tagapangulo, senador, senadora, may ano po ako, concern lang po ako dun. Wala pong batas. Ibig mong sabihin ay tayo kailangan gumawa ng panukalang batas patungkol dito. Ano po ang legality nito sa konstitusyon? Ito po ba, sa ngayon po kasi parang kung naalala nyo po merong sa ngayon, sinusulong po yan ng ating matapang na senadora, tagapangulo, yung pong SIM card registration. Noong pong huling Congress, na-veto po ni Presidente Duterte kasi isinama yung social media registration. So ang tanong ko po, ang inyo po bang hinihingi, mahal naming chairman ng MTRCB, ay hindi naman po kasi censorship, di ba? Ang MTRCB. Gusto lang po ninyong i-classify. Pwede po bang ipaliwanag nyo sa amin kung ano po yung gusto po ninyong gawin namin para sa inyo? Hindi po natin mababiolate ang konstitusyon.
Salamat po. Ang katotohanan po, ang MTRCB is a review and classification board. We only review the material, and then rate and classify it. At nandito po sa aming yellow book, ang aming sinusunod na guidelines para po sa nararapat at akmang klasifikasyon para sa bawat material. Kanya lang, with regards to the online streamers, hindi pa po siya nasasaklawan. Kaya't kinakailangan po sana na amendahan ang Presidential Decree of 1986 upang maipasok po sila dito. We need to amend the Presidential Decree of 1986 if we would like to include the online streamers under the jurisdiction of the MTRCB.
So paano ngayon yan? Streaming rin kasi yung mga Netflix, di ba? So hindi kasama yan sa inyo ngayon?
Hindi po.
But they've paid courtesy visits, di ba? Because they take it upon themselves to self-regulate. So in short, if you don't agree with the material and their classification, you have no mandate over them.
We don't have the mandate over them, madam. However, I appreciate Netflix so much, as well as the Amazon Prime, because they are in constant communication with us.
Right.
In fact, we've just had workshop with the Netflix, and we are currently planning our campaign together with regards to the parental control features of Netflix, of Amazon Prime, that they would like to share with the country, especially the MTRCB.
Okay, now, what's sad is our very own local companies are not compliant when it comes to streaming. And one of them, I discussed this already with you, begins with the letter V. Have they returned? Have they explained to you what
I haven't.
plan to do?
I'm sorry, madam. I haven't spoken to any of them regarding the matter,
But call them.
or their app.
Can you call them and talk to them about it? We will be, of course, with a very hardworking chairperson of the Committee on Public Information. We can draft together something that will not make it more stringent, but will allow some sort of evaluation if they're doing their proper classifications,
Yes.
if they're showing it here. I'm sure that if it's a threat to national security, if it's pornographic, it can very well be under the purview of the NTC to cancel the streaming service. But right now, the MTRCB has no jurisdiction over those streaming
Yes.
apps. So if you can help us with the wording, I'm sure the chairman of the Committee on Public Information will take a look at it. And,
Yes,
and
will do,
hopefully
madam.
we can improve it.
I'd like to let you know also that to give you an example of how Netflix has been working with the MTRCB, we expressed our concern. We had told them our concern about a particular film which involved the sovereignty of our country. It was about the 9-dash line of a particular movie. And I appreciate them so much because when the MTRCB informed them about this, the concern, they immediately took down that particular scene. So they really do self-regulations. And they have very strict parental control features. That's why I believe Netflix is doing their own self-regulation voluntarily and in constant communication.
Actually, we have to head to CA soon.
Yeah,
So
but-
let's
but-
finish our
Yeah,
questions.
Chair, siguro last na. Pero napanood nyo na ba yung binabanggit ni Madam Chair na channel na
I received reports po.
but none from your office have viewed kung ano yung pinapalabas dun sa channel na yun?
We've received, the board members has also received
Yeah, but yung actual watching,
we have
wala
not.
pa. Maybe, Madam Chair,
subscribed.
pero for you to know kung ano yung complaint, baka siguro you should already assign somebody to monitor that channel.
Will do, madam.
Kasi eventually, pwede natin pasabi sa NTC, bawiin yung ano nila, permit to operate.
And then siguro, last na lang before we end, yung, kasi based on your PD, yung sa Section 20, siguro paaral nyo, kasi yung sinking fund, technically, it's the board who has control over the sinking fund. So, dapat walang control yung DBM. So, kasi with this section, dadali yung buhay ng aming chairperson. Kasi nga, technically, you should have access to that fund.
Actually, Senator Robin, we're headed to another hearing, but you can continue this hearing and adjourn when you... Tuloy-tuloy, tanong ka lang ng tanong, if you want.
Ma'am, napakalaking karangalan po noon. Maraming salamat po. Opo.
Sen,
Apo.
pag nagsasalita ka, itong mga kasama ko dati sa MTRCB, grabe yung mga mata, oh. Kumikislap-kislap. Never ako tinignan ng ganyan, grabe.
Pero mas kinilig po ako dahil kumikita eh. Ang galing eh. Ang galing-galing po. Ang galing-galing. Napaka-good news po niyan. Ang hilingin ko na lang po kasi ako po ay inatasan na ng ating mahal na tagapangulo na i-hear po ito, dinggin to sa committee ng public information. Kung nanaisin niyo po sana, hihingin din po namin kung sino po yung mga pangalan na gusto po ninyong makasama. Dahil ang ibig ko pong sabihin, sa pagkakaintindi ko po sa sinabi ng ating mahal na tagapangulo, yung mga concern na mga parang, para sabay-sabay na po natin. Meron naman pong local ng Netflix dito eh. Pwede din po natin silang maimbata. Tsaka po kung sino man po yung letter B na sinasabi ninyo, maimbita din po natin. Mas maganda po na kasama natin sila kung ano man po yung gagawin nating panukalang batas. Opo. Yun lamang po. Kung gusto nyo pong tuloy pa po natin to, walang problema. Ako naman po ay nag-i-enjoy. Nakausap po kayo.
Madam Chair, last na lang siguro kasi nabasa ko din dun sa PD nyo, yung Manila Film Center apparently is under MTRCB. May isang section dun eh. So, curious lang ako who owns that property.
Ma'am, exempt po siya. It's outside our jurisdiction po.
Yung Manila Film
Yes,
Center. Oh, okay. Are you
Okay.
sure?
Well, I will move to approve the budget for the MTRCB. May second ba?
Wait, second or third?
Oh, well, congratulations, Madam Chair Lala and
Maraming
to the
salamat po.
MTRCB team. You continue to make us proud. Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat po sa inyo. Thank you so much.
Papalabas sa pen center.
Lang.
Hindi
Lang.
nila.
Sino may-ari ng building?
Hindi po yung sa kanila.
Sino may-ari? Pa-research mo nga, sino may-ari ng building?
Kasi, di ba consider yan na maging... I'll check po ma'am.
This hearing on the 2023 budget of the following agencies is now called to order: the Department of Information and Communications Technology and its attached agencies, the National Telecommunications Commission, NTC, the National Privacy Commission, NPC, and the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center, CICC. I would also like I would like the secretary to please read the names of our resource persons present both in person and online.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the Department of Information and Communications Technology, we have Secretary Ivan Jan Uy, who is with us virtually. For the on-site, we have Yusek Josel Batapasige, Yusek Paul Joseph Mercado, Yusek Manuel Anthony Tan, together with ASEC Jeffrey Ian D, ASEC Philip Varilla, Director Reniel Villaflor. For the attached agencies, the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordination Center, we have Director Alvin Navarro, Mr. R.B. Talastas. For the National Telecommunications Commission, we have Attorney Gamaliel Cordoba, together with Attorney Ella Blanca Lopez, Ms. Heriberta Tamoro, Engineer Alvin Bernard Blanco, and Mr. Edgardo Caparrios. For joining us virtually, we have USEC Dennis Villafuerte, together with ASEC Maria Teresa M. Camba, ASEC Ana May Lamentillo, Director Nestor S. Bungato, Maria Katrina Oner, Jarlo Demetrio, Karen Therese Dunton, Camille Rose Pajarillo, Luis Antoinette San Antonio, Antonio Edward Padre, Jose Carlos Reyes, Amelia Dean, Leslie Corazon Haen, Ray Parnacio, Cheryl C. Ortega, Carmela Valencia, Jane L. Havellana, Frederick Amores, Siti Rama Lawi, Alimsar Azum. And for the CICC, we have Director Rojun Hosilios, Paul Simon Madera, Ermina Ledesma. For the National Privacy Commission, we have Director Manuel Satuito, Rainier Anthony Milanes, Vida Zora Bocar, Ivy Grace Villasoto, Marilu Lilian, Susana Abada, Attorney Rachel Rebecca Reliosa Sagigit, Rodolfo Cabato Jr., Erwin Espinilla, Jonathan Rudolph Ragsag, Fiona May Hilda Abainsa, Wenceslao Wagner IV. For the NTC, we have Director Imelda Walsien, Director Candido Cesar Faldon, Director Jovita Chonco, Roberto Tolentino, Susana Panes, Arcinia San Luis. And for the DBM, the Department of Budget Management, we have Director Gemma Ilagan, together with Ms. Karen Madrigal, Maria Daniv Belaro, Virginia Carmelo, and Ellen Joy Celso. That's all, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Is that it? Okay, thank you. With the resource persons present here today, please raise your hands if you're a new appointee. So you've been there before, and okay, I just have to know. Okay, all right. You have a presentation. Do we have the DICT incoming secretary or secretary online?
Madam Chair, I'm online.
Secretary Uy. All right, let's go. Who's going to do the presentation first? Okay, Secretary, go ahead. Now, let me remind you that if it's a little bit redundant, just skip it so that we don't have to drag these proceedings. I know that there are others online, Anna May and Secretary, who are at a different time zone. Let's go ahead now.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Honorable Senator Grace Poe, Vice Chairperson of the Senate Committee on Finance, distinguished senators, colleagues in public service, friends, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you all a pleasant day. I'm honored to present the Department of Information and Communications Technology, together with my colleagues, the undersecretaries, assistant secretaries, and the heads and other officials of our attached agencies, the Cybercrime Investigation Coordinating Center, the National Privacy Commission, as well as the National Telecommunications Commission, in presenting before the Senate Committee on Finance the President's budget for DICT and its attached agencies for fiscal year 2023. We wish to take this opportunity to, to forward some of the President's marching orders for the DICT, which are all geared towards the attainment of a safe, secured, and competitive nation through innovative IC technologies, services, and infrastructure. The global pandemic saw digital transformation flourish and ICT becoming ingrained in virtually all aspects of our lives. To reap the benefits of participating in the digital economy and to bridge the digital divide, the DICT was tasked to provide more opportunities for Filipinos to create wealth and help steer the economy, the country towards economic recovery. So participation in the digital economy can only be possible if every Filipino has ready access to free and reliable internet connection. As such, the President has ordered the DICT to deploy digital connectivity and build vital infrastructure to reach the underserved and unserved areas of the country. With Filipinos becoming more active in the cyberspace, the DICT was also directed to protect Filipinos from cybercrime, promote cyber safe practices and data protection, and facilitate secure digital transactions. These directives of the President have been the core message behind our efforts to transform the national ICT landscape and usher the country towards a world-class digital economy. With your kind indulgence, allow me to call on our Undersecretary for ICT Industry Development, Attorney Josel Batapa-Sige, to present the President's proposed fiscal year 2023 budget for the DICT and its attached agencies. Thank you, ma'am.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
You're recognized. Go ahead.
Thank you, Secretary Ivan Uy. Good afternoon to our dear senators, especially to Senator Grace Poe, Vice Chairperson of the Senate Committee on Finance. For today, we wish to discuss the following key agenda for the DICT Office of the Secretary: proposed fiscal year 2023 budget, and highlights of proposed 2023 programs and projects. For the proposed budget and programs of the DICT attached agencies, these shall be presented later by the respective agency heads in the following order: the Cybercrime Investigation Coordinating Center, the National Privacy Commission, and the National Telecommunications Commission. On the next slide, as you can see, is the proposed fiscal year 2023 budget for the whole department, including its attached agencies. The DICT and its attached agencies have a total of 7.23 billion pesos proposed budget for fiscal year 2023, of which around 86% shall be for the programs and projects of the Office of the Secretary. Around 5% of the amount, or roughly 348 million, is the proposed budget of the CICC in its second year of operation. For the NPC, the proposed budget is 200 million, or approximately 3%. 6% of the total proposed budget, or 435 million pesos, is for the programs and projects of the National Telecommunications Commission. This total budget excludes the automatic appropriations amounting to 2.55 billion pesos, which is mostly from the spectrum users fee constituted as the Free Public Internet Access Fund for the implementation of the Free Wi-Fi for All Free Public Internet Access Program of the department. The succeeding slide shall be the details of the proposed budget for fiscal year 2023 for the Office of the Secretary. The slide shows the comparative matrix of the DICT Office of the Secretary original proposal submitted to the Department of Budget and Management and the approved budget at the National Expenditure Program level. There is a high variance, Madam Chair, or 31,549,284 pesos or 78% between DICT OSEC's original proposed budget and the approved budget at the NEP level. The department recognizes and appreciates the NEP level budget allocated for fiscal year 2023 given our financial performance. We are now implementing various organizational improvement measures to ensure the timely and efficient delivery of our programs and projects to our intended stakeholders around the country. We defer to the kind wisdom of our current Congress for the additional budget for the wider coverage of our digital transformation initiatives to bring our Filipino citizens to the deeper into the fourth industrial revolution. Of the 8.8 billion proposed budget of the DICT OSEC under FY or fiscal year 2023 NEP, a total of around 657 million is allocated to general administration and support services. 55 million to support to operations, and around 5.5 billion for operations. The remaining 2.5 billion comes from the automatic appropriations for the DICT OSEC, which is mostly for the spectrum users fee constituted as the Free Public Internet Access Fund for the implementation of the Free Wi-Fi for All Free Public Internet Access Program. In terms of the expense class, 8% of the total budget is allocated for personal services. We can see that personal services only accounts for only 8% of the DICT's 2023 budget. At present, the department has efforts to expand its organizational structure and staffing pattern to respond to the increasing demand for the ICT programs and services by the government sector and the public as marching orders of our president. Once these efforts have been completed, we can expect an increase in the share of the PS in the department's annual budget in the coming years. We hope, Madam Chair, to be able to implement in the near term, in close coordination with the Department of Budget and Management and the Civil Service Commission, an organizational structure that will be responsive to the ICT demands of the country, including the countryside, and adaptable to the ever-changing information communication technologies that our Filipino workforce needs in order to keep abreast to better deliver ICT projects and service to our Filipino citizens. The DICT shall continue to implement programs, projects, and policies that enable greater private sector investment in the country's internet infrastructure. This improvement shall expand to equitable internet connectivity across the country for education, for job creation, and access to information and basic government services. Our next slide talks about building the Philippine Digital Highway, or the PAP National Broadband Program. The National Broadband Program aims to close the digital divide and elevate the Filipinos' living standard by deploying broadband connectivity across the country through fiber optic cables and wireless technologies. In 2020, BCDA and DICT completed the construction of the international cable landing stations in Baler, Aurora, and in San Fernando, La Union, and the 250-kilometer fiber conduit, which will carry 2 terabytes per second optical spectrum to DICT's point of presence and BCDA's ecozone. The keys were handed over by BCDA to DICT last November 2021. As part of our accomplishments, as of 30 August 2022, 73% or 73.56% of the national fiber backbone phase 1 project is already completed and is projected to be finished by first half of 2023. 981 government offices and agencies in 13 different provinces across 13 different regions are connected through the GovNet project, with a target of 86 additional offices and agencies to be activated by the end of 2022. For 2023 targets, we will initiate the National Fiber Backbone Phase 3 by the next year and establish 3 GovNet sites that will connect 234 agencies to the network. We will also continue operating and maintaining the Phase 1 and Phase 2 network, the Luzon bypass infrastructure, microwave towers, and our GovNet sites. Our next slide is about free Wi-Fi in public places and state universities and colleges. As of August 2022, Madam Chair, a total of 4,681 live and operational free Wi-Fi sites in 75 provinces and 600 localities have been established, serving 3.8 million unique users. As shown in slide 10, here and in the following 6 slides are the details of the distribution of the free Wi-Fi sites in public places and SUCs, as well as the target number of sites to be established within 2022 and 2023. As part of our accomplishments, as of 20 August 2022, there are already 3,055 active sites in public places in the Philippines, spanning 71 provinces, including Metro Manila, and 415 localities and cities. These numbers are broken down per island group as follows: Luzon, 1,732 sites, 31 provinces; Metro Manila, 231 municipalities and cities. In the Visayas, 500 sites, 15 provinces, 77 municipalities and cities. In Mindanao, 815 sites, 24 provinces, and 124 municipalities and cities.
Excuse me. 3,055 sounds like a big number, but what's your target? What was the how many targeted areas are supposed to receive free Wi-Fi?
Yes, Madam Chair. As part of the manuscript, Madam Chair, by the end of fiscal year 2023, we are targeting a total of an additional 9,224 free Wi-Fi sites in public places.
This is in 2023.
This is in 2023, Madam Chair, because our current number is only around 4,000 plus, Madam Chair.
So almost double in 2023.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. So, for free Wi-Fi in public places from September to December of this year, we will establish 2,892 additional sites in public places. By the end of 2022, Madam Chair, we will have a total of 5,951 free Wi-Fi sites in public places, which will now cover all 81 provinces, including Metro Manila and 860 municipalities and cities. For this, Madam Chair, Luzon will have 3,516 sites covering 38 provinces, Metro Manila, 400 municipalities and cities. For Visayas, 1,140 sites, 16 provinces, 206 municipalities and cities. For Mindanao, 1,295 sites, or 27 provinces and 257 municipalities and cities.
What's the average speed?
I will have to defer to our technical person for the average speed. ASEC Philip Barilla, please.
Baka nga may free Wi-Fi, super bagal naman, di ba?
Oo.
This is just a quick average speed.
ASEC Philip, kindly respond.
Your designation, please. ASEC of what?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, Your Honor, Senator Tulfo. I'm Philip Varilla. I'm Assistant Secretary for Connectivity of the DICT.
Before you respond, hindi masyadong tahimik si Senator Tulfo, hindi ko napapansin. Thank you for your presence, sir. I acknowledge the presence of Senator Raffy Tulfo.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
I apologize for not having recognized you earlier. Go ahead, ASEC Varilla. What is your average speed?
There are actually varying contracts, Madam Chair. The lowest one is about 1.6 megabits per second, and the highest would be 50 megabits per second, Your Honor.
You have contracts with private providers.
Yes.
Can you tell me, give me an example of your providers?
The different providers would include Converge, let me, EasyCom, Innovate, PLDT, WIT, PCS, EBIS, I1.
Okay, thank you. Just stand by there. Go ahead, ma'am. Sorry to interrupt.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your question earlier, Your Honor, for fiscal year 2023, we plan to set up an additional 3,273 sites in public places and spanning 81 provinces, including Metro Manila, and 1,034 municipalities and cities. The breakdown would be Luzon, 1,625 sites, 38 provinces, and 493 localities, municipalities, including Metro Manila. For Visayas, 579 sites, 16 provinces, 250 municipalities and cities. Mindanao, 1,069 sites, 27 provinces, and 291 municipalities and cities. With the help of Congress, Your Honor, God willing, by the end of fiscal year 2023, we will hit a total of 9,224 free Wi-Fi sites in public places around the country. Our next slide would talk about the free Wi-Fi in public places, particularly in GIDA area. And there are 1,035 locations spanning 75 provinces and 598 localities. The breakdown includes Luzon, 507 locations, 34 provinces, 241 municipalities, Visayas, 215, 16 provinces, 170 municipalities, Mindanao, 313 locations, 25 provinces, 187 municipalities. As of today, all GIDA sites are currently deactivated due to end of service. By the end of 2022, around 122 GIDA sites will be activated through the IRU agreement. Next slide, there are 5,656 previously activated and terminated public places in the Philippines across 80 provinces and Metro Manila and 1,038 localities and cities as of August 2022. The reactivation of these sites will be highly prioritized in 2023.
Why was it deactivated?
May I ask ASEC Barilla, please, to answer?
Bakit na-deactivate? Hindi nga nagamit lahat ng budget eh.
Madam Chair, there was a change in strategy by the previous administration, and the budget was used for other purpose.
Like what?
The budget was used for a regional ring here in Metro Manila, as well as a satellite service for GIDA sites, Your Honor.
What in Metro Manila? I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you were saying.
The project is to connect local government units in Metro Manila, Your Honor.
So you prioritize the local governments in Metro Manila first. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. For this 2022, 23, and 23, Your Honor, let me just state for the record that under the leadership of Secretary Uy, we wish to reach the original target of 9,000 plus free Wi-Fi sites. Our next slide would show the accomplishment of our free Wi-Fi in state universities and colleges. As of August 2022, there are 608 active sites in state universities and colleges and 18 sites in TESDA institutions spanning 63 provinces, including Metro Manila, and 299 municipalities and cities. The breakdown includes Luzon, 884 sites, 31 provinces, 161 municipalities and cities. Visayas, 400 sites, 12 provinces, 64 municipalities and cities. Mindanao, 334 sites, 19 provinces and 74 municipalities.
Pero ilan ang dapat talaga? 1,626. But how many SOCs and TESDA centers should have free Wi-Fi?
Our target, Your Honor, for 2022 is a total of 2,750 sites as compared to the current 1,608.
No, but how many is the total? I mean, that could be your target, but how many should have free access to Wi-Fi? Like how many state universities and colleges do we have?
Your Honor, actually, aside from the 2022 target, we target 3,317 free Wi-Fi sites in SUCs and TESDA institutions. That's the end of the 2023.
No, but how many state universities are there?
Your Honor, the total number of SUCs and TESDA institutions currently is 4,681.
So if you target in 2023, what's your target in 2023?
Our target in 2023 is 3,317 free
So
Wi-Fi.
you're almost covering all. Diba? Kasi
Yes,
sabi
Your
mo
Honor.
4,000, diba?
Yes, Your Honor.
4,000 SUCs, right?
4,681, Your Honor.
Okay, but how many TESDA schools?
Your Honor, our data currently combines state universities and TESDA institutions. We will try to extrapolate the number of TESDA centers.
So wait, so the 4,681 are just SUCs, right? Or is that combined?
Your Honor, I apologize. The 4,681 number, Your Honor, already includes all the public places. So it already includes government hospitals, national and local government offices, public libraries, public parks, public schools. And to your question as to how many state universities and colleges that are targeted by the free Wi-Fi program, it's only a total of 1,626.
1,622 for the learning institutions.
Okay. Your Honor, if I may, 1,626 is the active, but the target until 2025 in terms of state universities alone is 2,205.
Okay. Go ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. In terms of free Wi-Fi in state colleges and universities, in slide 16, there are 1,395 terminated free Wi-Fi sites spanning 62 provinces, 310 municipalities and cities. The reactivation of these sites will be prioritized in 2023. This includes 796 sites, 30 provinces, 174 municipalities and cities. In the Visayas, 324 sites, 12 provinces, 64 municipalities. In Mindanao, 227 sites, 19 provinces, 72 municipalities and cities. This answers the question as to the goal of reactivating the connectivity in state universities. In slide 15, from September 20...
Wait, hold on. The 1,397 terminated sites are SUCs and TESDA institutions, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
But you're telling me that there are only 1,622 learning institutions that have to be connected, right? Anong number na 1,622?
Sorry, Your Honor, I stand corrected. The 1,626 is the operational number of sites as of 2022.
Okay. See, I'm getting confused. So 1,626 are operational sites. Okay. Now, you have 1,626 operational sites. How many were terminated? Go back to your last slide. 1,397 terminated.
Yes, Your Honor.
So, how many is the your numbers don't jive because you're talking about 4,681 all government facilities na yan. Kasama na, sabi mo, pati yung SUCs, di ba? So when you add 1,626 plus 1,397, halos lahat yan napunta na talaga sa state universities and colleges. Tama ba?
Your Honor, with your kind indulgence, I would like to defer to former part of the DICT, ASEC Philip, for the answer, Your Honor.
Go ahead, Yusek.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the SUCs, Madam Chair, there are actually, I think, about 120, more than 120 SUCs. But they have different campuses, Madam Chair. So, if we are to, and on average, there are about campuses per SUC, Madam Chair. So, it's about more than 1,000 campuses, Madam Chair.
And then TESDA.
For TESDA, there are
Kasi pag in-add mo tong 1,626 plus 1,397,
there are 125 the institutional centers, Madam Chair.
so bakit yung numbers ninyo?
Madam Chair,
Sabi
if
mo
I-
1K lang yung state university.
if I
Okay.
can further explain, the Wi-Fi sites that was mentioned earlier basically refers to the access points that were installed in the different locations. In one location, there may be 1, 2, 3, or 4 access points that are installed. So there are more Wi-Fi sites, Madam Chair, if you
Okay.
compare it with the location.
Thank you, sir. Mahaba pa ba yan?
I think, Your Honor, that's the last for the free Wi-Fi, and I move to the next major topic, Your Honor,
Which is?
which is developing a data-driven governance about our data center project.
Teka muna, bago yon yung national broadband. Tapos ka na? Hindi pa, di ba? You just mentioned it briefly, right?
I mentioned it briefly, Your
You
Honor.
have can you expound on that before we go to this data center?
Your Honor, if I may, I would like to request ASEC Philip to expound on the national broadband project.
What is the budget now allocated for the national broadband?
Madam Chair, it's 1.5 billion.
1.5 billion. But what is your ask? How much did you need?
We asked actually more than 10 billion.
10 billion.
Yes.
With this 1.5 billion, what would you cover? How many percent?
We can cover, Madam Chair, the links from Central Luzon to the Bicol area, Madam Chair.
Okay. If you were given double that, well, what would you be able to link?
We can actually double the 1.5 billion. We can probably cover, Madam Chair, lighting up the backbone until Mindanao, but not the whole of Mindanao, Madam.
Okay. See, that's the problem. Why didn't you ask for a bigger budget for the... How many landing sites do you have now? And how many are you expected to have? You mentioned Baler, Aurora, San Fernando, La Union, right?
Yes, Madam Chair. These are the 2 cable landing stations that we have. These are connected to international submarine cable networks.
Ilan pang kailangan yung landing sites?
There will be domestic cable landing, Madam Chair, but they will not require too much budget because we are also planning to use the fiber optic cable of NGCP. There are inland as well as submarine cable,
GCP, no?
Madam Chair. Thank you,
Madam Chair.
Senator Nancy is recognized.
Madam Chair, hindi. ASEC, magkano ba talaga yung kailangan na amount para matapos yung broadband plan? 10. 10B yung hiningi nyo. By yung 10B ba matatapos tapos na yan?
Hindi pa po.
So magkano yung
Actually, if we are to partner po with local electric cooperative, mababawasan po ng husto yung magiging budget. Ang initial po naming budget is about 70 billion, yung requirement po namin. If we will partner with local electric cooperative, mababawasan po yun because we will just use po yung poles nila and perhaps we can have an arrangement para po
So
ma-install.
magkano nga ho yung kailangan? Kasi for this year's budget, ang ni-request was 18 billion. Pero ang nabigay sa inyo, 9 billion. Tas for next year, ang ni-request nyo, 10 billion. Tas ang nabigay sa inyo is only 1.5. So magkano ho ba talaga yung the whole picture? Because I think yung remaining 3 years natin, Madam Chairperson, and I assume kayo pa rin ho yung magde-defend ng budget ng DICT. Magandang malaman din on our part para alam din namin na parang every year, ito yung kailangan natin paghandaan pagdating dun sa broadband plan. Ang nangyayari ho ngayon, tingi-tingi yung di ba? So parang hindi ko makita yung the bigger picture.
Walang nagpahiram sa inyo na cooperative or NGCP, magkano talaga yung projected amount that you will need for national broadband?
Actually, yung estimate po namin, kasama na po yung NGCP, yung ano nila would be around 70 billion to 100 billion po.
Tapos, ang binigay sa inyo ngayon, magkano? 1 billion?
Opo.
So parang hindi talaga seryoso dito, ano?
Sana nga po mabigyan kami para maski po yung inihiling lang po namin na 10 billion pa po sana para malagyan na po natin hanggang Mindanao po.
Can you please spell the benefits of actually having a national broadband? Anong mangyayari? Kunyari, meron nga. Ano bang benepisyo nito sa tao?
Basically po yung national broadband network natin will provide government, yung pong all government agencies sana with broadband internet service. Yung idea is for the government service to deliver also the needed services to the public. Aside from that, through the free Wi-Fi, we will be able to provide yung free public Wi-Fi service to the citizenry. So yun po yung aming plano, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, but at the moment, yung mga government agencies, parang nagsusubscribe tayo sa telco para magkaroon ng ganitong broadband, tama po ba? And then, so pag natapos na to, dapat lahat ng government offices, hindi na sila magsusubscribe dun sa existing telcos. Ganun ba yung long-term scenario?
Yes and no. Kasi po, there are government agencies that may require 2 or even 3 internet service providers. So, meron po kasing mga ganong government agency. Redundancy po ang kailangan nila.
So ano nga yung advantage ng magkakaroon ng sarili wherein government would spend so much money when technically there's already a private sector who's also investing dito sa broadband plan?
Basically po yung yun nga, government network po kasi yung ating binibuild plus yung free Wi-Fi service that will be providing through the national broadband network. So yun po yung
Madam Chair, since hindi nga ito pinopondohan, baka by the time mapunuan yung 70 billion, meron ng bagong technology. Di ba? I mean, for example ngayon, di ba, yung narinig natin, yung SpaceX, di ba? Baka by the time, doon na pala tayo magmamigrate.
That's actually an interesting analysis, ha? Kasi may mga telcos rin that are also expanding at this point. So, I don't know. You are raising your hands, ma'am. You're recognized.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Honor. I'd like to request our colleague from the NTC to just give a comparative, assessment for government broadband and the government broadband of other countries which we are comparing our country. Sir.
Good afternoon po, Madam Chair, Senator Binay, Senator Tulfo. Just to add lang po dun sa binanggit ni Asik Varilla, in other countries po kasi, the government puts up the infrastructure which is the national broadband which is the most expensive. Ito po kasi yung parang backbone na kung saan nanggagaling po yung mga ibang area. So in the Philippines po kasi it's a purely private sector initiative. So yung po mga telcos natin, they spend so much for this. They have problems with right of way. They have problems with permits, barangay, etc. So if the government puts it up, what can happen, like in other countries, is the private sector only leases from the government po. Kaya po yung price ng expenses sa telco ng mga ating kababayan ay babagsak po. Secondly, there are areas po na medyo mahirapan puntahan ng private sector because of the distance, and sometimes it's a peace and order item. So makakatulong po yung government doon. So with the project po ng DICT, kapag ginawa po yun, long term po would be redundancy. We won't be too dependent on the private sector. Secondly, the private sector can lease from the government infrastructure. So babagsak po yung kanilang CapEx, magiging OpEx na lang po ito. Thank you po.
Magandang pakinggan yan, ha? Pero unang-una, if the government's the one maintaining the connection, it's, for me, I think it might be a little bit more unreliable. But then, okay, redundancy is good so that nobody can monopolize connectivity. But, you know, you mentioned an interesting point. It's difficult for them to get right of way, difficult for them to get barangay permits. I think that's something the NTC can do as an initiative, is to facilitate that for them. Even if it's a private sector initiative, in one of our laws, I think in bayanihan, di ba? We already expedited. Now, of course, that's already lapsed. O dapat, ano ba yan? Is it still, have you cut the number of requirements?
Actually, ma'am, what we did was during the pandemic, the NTC together with other government agencies, which are the ARTA, DPWH, and other agencies po, we issued a joint memorandum circular. So malaking bagay po kasi what happened was if the one putting up the infrastructure has submitted all the requirements and within a certain period of time ay hindi po inapprove ng government office, which for example is a barangay or a municipality, then it is deemed approved after a period of days po.
Okay. I'm sorry if my co-senators don't mind. Right now, the hot topic is really under the DICT, which is SIM registration, all of these scams that are coming in, all of the e-commerce that is happening is under the DICT. So you have all of these presentations, but I would like to get to our questions immediately before we forget. NTC, how much is your budget for next year? Your proposed budget, is it 400 million?
Ito po, 459 million, ma'am, for 2023. Si DepCom.
So, Mr. Cabarrios is a consultant.
Yes.
Who took his place?
Si DepCom Ella Lopez, and the other one is DepCom John Salvahan, but he's attending another hearing po, Your Honors.
Okay. What's your qualification, Attorney Lopez? Attorney ulit.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. Yes, Madam po.
Okay. Can you tell me what the mandate is of the NTC?
Actually, ma'am, within the NTC's jurisdiction is the broadcasters. The broadcasters include radio and TV, and also the those providing cable TV operations. Cable TV operations includes fixed cable operations, fixed cable, and yung pong frequency, yung pong mga direct to home, for example, Signal and Dream TV before, yon. And then under the other side po is the telecommunications, which includes our telcos. Telcos includes the mobile providers, cellular mobile telephone providers, and yun pong mga internet service providers at saka po yung mga fixed line. Yun po mga...
Bakit ang laki ng budget? I mean, saan nyo ginagamit ang 400? Paano nyo gagamitin ang 400 million na yan?
Ma'am, ito pong is composed of PS. PS namin is 300, personal service is 305.4 million, and the MOE is 154 million. We don't have a capital expenditure for next year, Your Honors.
Okay, but you are actually earning from fees, right? Do you get
Yes.
How much did you earn last year?
Po, wait, nandito po. For 2021, Your Honors, the target that was given by the DBCC is 5.77 million, and we're able to collect 9.145 billion, Your Honors.
Billion?
Yes, ma'am. So, ang excess po namin is 173% of the target.
Okay. Yung hotline ba ninyo gumagana na?
Yes, ma'am.
Kasi
Ma'am.
sinubukan namin, hindi
Okay po. Gumagana po. And we also sent your officer honors the process right now on TechScams po. We emailed it last night to your office, but I can discuss it for your honors if you would want.
Okay. All right. We'll go back to the NTC later, but can you were discussing the data centers
Your Honor.
before I cut you off?
Yes, Your Honor, but may I also mention that on the instruction of the Secretary who is now in Zoom, the DICT also came up with an immediate plan for the tech scam fiasco or issue. And may I just give a few minutes to Yusek Paul Mercado to quickly just provide us an update of that move, Your Honor.
Okay.
Good
Yusek
afternoon,
Mercado.
Madam Chair. Actually, last 15 September, last Thursday, we had an interagency meeting with the NTC, the CICC, as well as the NPC. Right now, we see the problem, and the problem, I think, really is the hotline right now. And we coordinated and we created this stopgap measures. For now, for the DICT, we have this consumer complaint hotline or email address. We'll send it later to you, the email address. We started this since July, but this includes not only the current tech scam, but all complaints regarding the ICT sector. The CICC also has its own hotline, and at the same time, the NTC and the NPC. Right now, last Thursday, what we discussed is for us to create this joint memorandum circular so that we can consolidate all our efforts. The DICT for cyber awareness, cyber hygiene, the CICC for investigation, because they are the arm for investigating these kinds of problems, the NTC as the regulatory body of the telcos, and do their regulatory function in order to prevent this, and the NPC, because there is privacy that is invaded in these kinds of problem. We will update you on this matter, and we will have a continuous meeting on this po, ma'am.
Senator Tulfo is recognized.
Yeah, since na-mention niya po yung CICC, yun po talagang interest ko kung ba't ako nandito. Idadirect ko lang po quickly dito po sa CICC. Yusek Alexander Ramos, pwede malaman ng qualification po ninyo at kayo po ay naatasan maging Yusek ng CICC Cybercrime Investigation and Coordination Center.
Thank you. I'm a 25-year veteran of law enforcement doing transnational crime investigation.
Meron po kayo alam tungkol sa mga computer systems?
Yes po, I was trained locally and overseas.
Saan po overseas?
I trained with the National White Collar Crime Center.
Okay.
I trained with the U.S. Secret Service.
US. So, kilala niyo po itong CISA, kung tawagin. Yung Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency ng US sa Homeland Security. Have you trained with them?
Not with them, sir.
Not with them. Okay. Now, kasi po, alam naman natin ngayon na uso na po yung tinatawag na cyber attack. Alam niyo po yan, ano? Nilalaunch yun from say China, Russia, and North Korea, and then kung sinong country na they perceive as enemy, inaatake nila. Ngayon po meron tayong konting sigalot. Actually, hindi konting sigalot. Medyo matagal ang sigalot between yung sa China. So have you heard of the Unit 6138 within the PLA, People's Liberation Army? Di ba sa law enforcement po kayo? Unit 6138.
I'm not familiar with them,
Okay.
but way back in
Okay, you have hard time. Let me help you. Ito po yung isang unit na nagpe-penetrate, naglo-launch ng mga cyber attack against countries that they perceive as enemy. At kasama po tayo siguro dyan. China perceive us as enemy. So, alam niyo po itong hidden links, LYNX. And ito po ay part ng ammunition na ginagamit ng PLA against other countries na gusto nang atakihin to through cyberspace. Alam niyo po yung water hole technique? Water hole technique po.
Hindi po. We have a different technique in doing investigation.
Sorry po. Oh, sorry. Okay, ano po yung mga computer system po ninyo? Meron ba tayong gumagamit ba kayo ng computer system from China, made in China? Meron po. Meron po nabanggit sa akin.
CICC.
Yeah, dati na po meron kayong computer system from China. Yung previous administration, and i-dispatch nyo po yun.
None that I know of.
What kind of computer system? Ano po yung mga computer nyo sa CICC? Saan po galing? Saan po binili? Saan po procure? Saan po?
Madam Chair, Your Honors, Division Chief RB Talastas may give us some idea.
Gusto ko lang po malaman, saan nyo po binili yung computer system ninyo? Meron kasi akong dahilan kung bakit ko tinatanong to. Very important to. Saan po nanggaling yung mga computer system, yung mga hardware, software? Saan po na nanggagaling yan? Saan po binibili yan? Saan nyo po in-order?
As Your Honor, the last digital forensic laboratory.
No, sir. No, don't about forensic. Don't be very technical on me. Ang gusto ko lang malaman, anong tatak at saan nyo po binili yung mga computer system ninyo? Yung mga computers ninyo na lang. Sige, saan po nanggaling yung mga computers ninyo? Ano po mga brand?
Saan ba yung IT ng CICC dito ngayon?
Madam Chair, kaya ako tinatanong yan. Kasi hindi alam ni Yusek yung hidden links at saka yung watering hole technique. Watering hole technique, ito po yung technique na ginagamit ng mga hackers. What they do is they would infect computers at a supplier. Ibig sabihin, ini-infect po nilang computer, kunyari galing China, lalagyan po nila ng virus yan doon sa intended target nila. And they're waiting for the infected computers to be installed. Once it's installed, it creates like a slave. Naging slave na yung computer. Doon po sa kumukontrol yung nagplanta ng virus.
May I reply?
And gigawain po ito ng mga hackers from China. And let me tell you, sir, 2015, Russian operatives attacked Ukraine electric grid. 2017, North Korea launched a cyber attack against British National Service health centers, caused major disruption. Ang dami po mga years dito na nagkaroon po ng cyber attack against other countries. being done by Russia, by North Korea, and by China. And ang sa akin po, how prepared are we for these possible attacks? And meron ho ba tayong mga ginagawa na para ma-prevent ito? Yung cyber attacks, especially now na may problema tayo sa China.
Your Honor, in my years of conducting investigation,
Okay.
the infection of computers is done through botnets.
To
So
what?
maybe it's similar to that because that's how we categorize it. Botnets po.
Ano po?
Botnets are implanted via payload into the network system.
No, sorry. Kasi I'll give you an example, sir. Kasi sabi niyo po, matagal na kayo sa law enforcement. Ano po? Yung pong, anong year ba to? There was this year where 730,000 American computers were infested by virus called zombies. Okay? At China po may kagagawa nito. So, pwede kong mangyari sa atin to. Pag ginawa to, kaya po nilang gibain, sirain, yung mga operation natin sa power grid, other public utilities, hospital services, government offices, kasama na dyan po yung social services, even military installations. Marami pong maapektuhan kapag inatake po tayo. Nag-launch po ng cyber attack ang China against us. Kaya nga po, gusto ko malaman from now on, excuse me, Madam Chair, mag-ingat siguro tayo sa procurement na to make sure ito mga computers na binibili natin, dapat alamin natin yung source. Kasi meron nga po yung sinasabing ini-infect po from the source yung computer system. And then pagdating po dun sa intended target, then meron po silang ginagawa na magkakaroon po parang slave dun sa loob ng computer, and they can do whatever they want to do. Banking and finance natin pwede ma-paralyze. And it happened already to other countries. Even advanced countries, more advanced countries than us. Sa Amerika, na-infiltrate nila. In fact, pati yung Sani corporations na-infiltrate nila. Aramco ng Saudi, na-infiltrate nila na corrupt nila yung mga data. Ito po ay mga countries na more advanced than us na infiltrate nila. Tayo pa kaya? So that's why I'm asking, how prepared are we?
Since I assumed office, there are two major things that I did. We developed a team composed of ComSci graduates in computer engineering to concentrate on application experts because it is absent in current structure. In the same manner that the digital forensics group have been given a new mission to concentrate on hardware exploits, which is also absent in our organization. These moves are created to preempt possible intrusions attacks in the future. We are still 2 weeks old in that aspect.
2 weeks old pa lamang po.
Yes, because it was never developed in the first place.
Okay, siguro it's about time na explore niyo po yan, mabilisin natin, madalain natin, na para pagdating sa time, pagdating ng time na sana huwag, prepared po tayo, kaya po natin makaunter kung ano man po yung balak sa atin ng other foreign countries that perceive us as their enemy, kaya po natin labanan o sanggain. Sa ngayon po mukhang vulnerable tayo. The way you've been answering my questions, mukhang kulang pa po tayo sa kaalaman, kulang pa po tayo sa teknolohiya para labanan itong posibleng paglo-launch ng cyber attack against us, halimbawa ng China, North Korea o Russia.
Yes, Your Honor, we acknowledge the lack of capability right now. That's why in the current procurement we're doing, we have changed all the descriptions to be compliant with these issues.
So what you just have said is scary. So ibig sabihin, vulnerable talaga tayo sa cyber attack. Sa
We are,
mga
sir.
hackers. We are.
We are.
Oh, okay.
That's why we are trying to increase our capability.
Our capability by giving more budget. So, Madam Chair, siguro talagang bigyan natin ng budget to at kailangan niyo po siguro mag-seminar pa sa mga iba't ibang bansa tulad ng Amerika, tulad yung sinasabi kong CIC sa CISA na makakatulong sa inyo kasi ito yung forefront pagdating po sa anti-cyber attack. Itong CISA po from within the Homeland Security. Baka po gusto niyo po mag-seminar doon. Pwede po namin ma-arrange para maturuan kayo ng mga technique paano mag-counter ng mga cyber attacks.
Can I ask my deputy to talk about the efforts on training?
Okay, sige po. Training. Sige po.
Before he does so, do you have an
Yes po, ma'am.
joiner?
Good afternoon po, Senator. Actually, apart from the CICC, even the DICT has its Cybersecurity Bureau, and we have the tools and the hardwares also in order to get information of these cyber threats po. We have several po, and we need enhancement, and that's why under the budget po also of the DICT, we are requesting po for the Cybersecurity Bureau in order to enhance this. Yung atake po kasi, yung cyber attack, iba.
Bakit hindi kayo, they're under the DICT.
Yes
So
po.
why don't you just work with them?
We are working po with them.
But the procurement of your security equipment is different from theirs. How much are you asking for that initiative?
Wait lang po.
Kasi sabi nga ni Senator Nancy, napansin niya 240 million na ang budget ng CICC. So magkano yung sa inyo? Baka naman pag pinagsama, malaki.
So under the Cybersecurity Bureau po, we have the National Computer Emergency Response Program.
Kasi po dati, Madam Chair, meron natang 400 million intelligence funds previous administration pero mukhang napunta ata kung saan sa bulsa.
Oo nga eh.
Oo, mukhang nakurakot ata. But anyway, sana mabigyan talaga silang budget at yung budget na may bigay sa kanila magamit ng maayos. At ang gusto ko pa mangyari talaga, lahat ng mga computer ninyo at ito po siguro i-advise niyo po sa lahat ng mga opisina ng gobyerno dahil kayo pong nasa forefront when it comes to cybersecurity na siguraduhin yung bibilihan natin, pagkukunan natin ng computer system, yung sa bansa na hindi natin kaaway, na wala tayong issue. Dahil kung kukuha tayo sa bansa na meron tayong issue, then ng mga computer systems natin, yung gagamitin natin, we're very vulnerable to cyber attack. At sinabi na nga ni Sir, ng USEC ninyo, na we are very weak right now at madali tayong ma-cyber attack. Di ba?
So magkano nga yung ano ninyo? Equipment?
For the renewal of the
Siguro.
for ito additional na. Total na. The total po is 661 million. Discomposed po of different systems. For example, the renewal of the cyber range platform, the enhancement of the web information gathering system.
Okay, this is part of your budget now. So this is separate pa from theirs.
It's separate po.
Akala ko you'll be working together.
The Cybersecurity Bureau po kasi has a different mandate than
What's the difference?
The CICC. The Cybersecurity Bureau po, we have 3 offices po here. The first is the National Computer Emergency Response. So this is a combination of tools and systems that gather information so that we give it to the CICC for investigation. We analyze the information gathered by the tools. And we conduct also the trainings, the vulnerability test for other agencies so that we can ensure that those systems from other agencies are secured enough to repel this cyber attacks.
Okay, so let's say a government agency or office is hacked. Their system is hacked. Who do they go to? You or them?
As to the hacking po, we have the tools to get the information as to the hacking. But as to the investigation part, it goes to the CICC.
Okay, when you get the information, can you restore the
It varies po. It depends on the attack. If the attack is already is a usual attack, kunyari napag-aralan na, we have systems para i-repel ito. But if the attacks are new, yung mga hindi pa napapag-aralan bago, we can get the information based on the data or the analytics kung ito ba ay mukha ba itong ginagawa na ng mga cyber criminals. Ito, pag nakuha namin yung information na to, we analyze it and we submit it to the CICC
How
for
many
them to
people in
investigate.
your department?
How many people? We have 3 divisions, around 30 people.
Okay, Senator Tulfo, sir.
Yes. Paano kung nag-launch ng cyber attack against our power grid? Yan po ba na paghandaan nyo?
Under our we have this system po kasi the National Security Operation Centers.
Direct to the point na lang po.
Sige po.
Napaghandaan nyo po ba?
Meron po kasi kami Security Operation Center. Right now po, 10 pa lang po na government agencies ang nakakonect dyan.
Oo,
And
10 pa
we
lang.
endeavor po for this administration.
So ilan po dapat makonect para
As much as possible po, kaya po. Kung kaya po lahat, better. Especially those critical information infrastructure po. May connect po namin para alam namin kung may mga atake na dumadating. As in, madedetermine po na.
So ngayon what you're saying, Madam Chair, is vulnerable tayo talaga sa pwedeng mag-launch ng cyber attack against our power grid.
Yes po. We note po that, and that's why we are doing this effort po para
So halimbawa gusto ng China bukas, sabi nila, gusto namin atakehin yung power grid ng Pilipinas kasi medyo makulit, matigas sa ulo, isang pindot lang, yari tayo, brown out tayong lahat, pwede na tayong lusubin.
To be fair po to the previous administration, we have this National Cybersecurity Plan until 2022. It has the framework po. It has all the information and the knowledge na dinidisseminate natin sa mga tao. Because po,
At alam mo ba, bukod sa power grid, kaya din nilang atakihin yung banking and finance natin? Yung mga banking institution,
Yes.
financial institution?
Yes po, sir.
Yung ating mga social services, mga hospital,
Yes.
kaya nilang atakihin yan?
Naintindihan ko po yan, Mr.
Bagay po yung ating transportation,
Yes po.
nandiyan na po yung ating airport.
But remember po, ito po ay isang sangay lamang po ng ating cybersecurity. Even yung mga ating financial institution, they have their own. They have their own. So, kumbaga, we coordinate. Pag nakuha namin yung best information, we analyze those information on how we can repel or how we can remedy the problem.
Okay, have you already received any threats, reports of threat to our national security through cyber hacking or?
Yes po, there are reports po, there are incidents na po. I'll get lang po the
Okay, while you wanted to add something.
Yes, Your Honor. Just directly to answer your question, the CICC is more responsible for the coordination for law enforcement and prosecution, while the DICT is more on the framework and the technical. The Bureau is, or the DICT is in charge of creating the cybersecurity plan for the whole country, for the tools as mentioned by Yusek Paul, while the CICC handles the law enforcement because the DICT has no enforcement Your Honor.
Nakataya po kayo sa NBI and PNP, tama?
That's the role of the CICC, Your Honor, to coordinate all these law
Do you have
enforcement
subpoena
agencies.
power? Do you have subpoena
No, we
power?
don't have subpoena power.
But you coordinate with the NBI.
We coordinate with all the LEAs and the Department of Justice, as well as internationally with the Interpol and all other agencies abroad with regards to cybercrime. Because when there's an attack, therefore there's a malicious intent, therefore that's a crime that's under CICC.
Okay. So, kaya pala wala sila masyadong technical equipment kasi
No.
they're the investigating arm for prosecutorial purposes.
May I, Madam Chair, if you will allow me, with regards to the capabilities of the CICC in terms of mandate, our mandate is to coordinate generally because that is what is lacking in all the layers. It becomes silos because they have specialization in each, right? The NBI investigates whether cyber or not. The police enforces whether cyber or not. The DOJ dispenses the law whether cyber or not. But the one that does everything, coordinates everything for the government is the CICC.
So we can open the ticket if the insert opens a ticket that there's an attack and gives it to us, which is what the ICT does. They coordinate with us. We're the ones who go to the different layers and gets their specific specialization and completes everything so that there is justice to be dispensed, whether locally or internationally.
Pero ang nakatakot po yung sa foreign, no? Yung sa domestic hindi masyado. Yung foreign attacks dapat mag-ingat po tayo. Yun yung talaga siguro pag-ingatan natin na mabuti. Ano po? And then, alam niyo ba, like in the US in 2016, nagkaroon ng interference sa election sa US dahil gumamit po ng cyber attack yung China. Yung pagkalat ng mga false information dissemination, that's part of the cyber attack.
Yes,
that's
sir.
being done by China up to now. So, how safe are we
Sir,
on that matter?
Madam Chair, if you will allow us, the CICC has already started coordinating with the SAISA and they have opened up all their courses. In fact, the Philippines has the most number of IT, OT trained in government, which means to say, when they asked for representatives from the Philippines to be trained, we gave them 1,800 Philippine government officials. So our initiatives in training the government is very expansive. In terms of 320 agencies, we have been training them to set up their own SOCs to be able to be attached to the DICT. So we don't, we don't want to the cyber criminals to second guess us. We don't say that in public, but I think it's important for you to know that we've started.
Don't get me wrong, wala akong problema sa budget. In fact,
Yes, sir.
ako nga po ay magsasuggest pa na bigyan kayo ng maayos na budget. Taasan pa yung budget ninyo.
Yes, kailangan.
Okay? Yun po ang gusto ko rito na para maproteksyonan po yung ating cyberspace against cyber attack. Yun po yung point ko rito. Hindi ko kayo ginigrill para bawasan po yung budget nyo. Don't get me wrong. I'm with you. I'm for you. Para magtulungan po tayo para sa kabutihan po ng sambayan ng Pilipino para sa ating seguridad. National security po issue ito. So we have to be one with each other in making sure na hindi na po tayo vulnerable dito sa cyber attack. Natakot po ako nung sinabi po ng inyong Yusek na vulnerable tayo sa cyber attack. At saka ganun din sinabi ni Mr. Yusek Mercado, which naintindihan ko, siguro ko lang tayo sa budget. Kaya kailangan talaga sana po yung budget ninyo.
Yes, sir.
Kailangan siguro yung mga training sa ibang bansa para maging updated tayo sa mga bagong teknolohiya to prevent cyber attacks. Alam niyo po yung sinasabi pang cyber ransom?
Yes, sir.
Aware kayo doon.
Sir, when it comes to ransom, I think ransomware. When it comes to ransomware, the Philippines is not generally a target, but I think we have to drive towards the idea that there are 10 million government officials. Everybody has to be culpable. We have to stop using the word awareness kasi wala pong responsibility doon. And we have to train 10 million government officials kasi yan po yung attack vector landscape po natin.
Tama po kayo, cyber ransomware.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And yung hacker po niyan ay yung tinatawag na WannaCry. WANNA-CRY. Yan po yung magaling na hacker. In fact, meron po yan from North Korea. They launched a cyber attack against British National Health Service. So, sabi ko kanina, nagagawa po nila itong mga hacker sa iba't ibang bansa na mas advance sa atin yung technology at mas maraming pera, mas malaki ang budget, so much more sa atin. Kaya awa po talaga ang sitwasyon natin. Dapat po talaga magdagdagan kayo ng budget. It's very unfortunate ng previous administration na sana makabili pa kayo ng magagandang mga computer system. Kinurakot pa yung 400 million. Balita ko, kinurakot po ata. So siguro pwede nyo pong kung sino man yung mangarakot ng perang yon, dapat managot. Diba? Pera po sana ninyo, pambili ng mga kagamitan nyo. Kumatawag kilala nyo kung sino yun, kumarakot ng pera nyo. Ako, alam ko kung sino yun. Pero, hindi ko na sasabihin. Pero pag pipilitin mo, sasabihin ko rin. Pag pipilitin mo ako. Ayaw mo? Okay, sige. Hindi ko na sasabihin kasi ayaw mo akong pilitin eh. Anyway, kailangan po talaga na pag-aralan po natin kung paano tayo ma-prevent natin yung cyber attack, especially doon sa ating power grid, sir. Very important po yan. Kausap ko lang po yung NGCP kasi po ako ay ang chairman ng Committee on Energy. Tinanong ko nga siya dahil 40% po ata ay pag-aari ng China or Chinese government. Yung partnership with Chinese government or Chinese investors. Tinanong ko siya kung meron bang mga Chinese employees sila na nandun po sa mismong control area, doon mismo sa facilities, wala naman daw. Ina-assure niya ako kami na imposible na yung NGCP magagamit ng China against cyber attack sa atin. Sabi ko sana, hindi nga. Pero again, going back to sa computer system, sabi nga ni Senator Nancy, nababago yung ating procurement provision na dapat. Kasi kung akong tatanungin, sana, kung pwede, I don't know, kung kinakailangan ito, gagawin natin ng legislation, Senator Nancy, pwede. Ilas muna tayo, bumili ng computer system sa isang bansa na yung bansa na yun, they perceive as their enemy.
Or siguro, Senator Tulfo, baka anything technology related. Baka pwedeng ganun yung... Diba?
Siguro, anything. Especially computer. Kasi nga sinasabi ko yung watering hole na in-infect po yung computer system. The intended target, halimbawa, example na lang, bibili ang DICT, maganda, nagbidding, mura, yung computer sa China. Ito pala, pupunta sa Pilipinas. Okay, magbibig sila ng sobrang mura, halos giveaway na lang para sila mananaw sa bid. And then wag ka, paplanta nila mga virus yan, mga zombies. Dating dito sa Pilipinas, kampante na tayo, after ilang linggo, ayun na.
With your permission, Senator Tulfo, dun sa kinakwento yung example, meron, hindi ko lang kung DICT ba yung in charge, na lahat ng delivery to all government agencies, for example, ng computer, hindi ba dapat nagra-random inspection kayo para makita kung meron bang siningit na whatever dun sa loob ng computer?
Wala.
May ganun ba tayong protocol when it comes to procurement?
Madam Chair, Senator Tulfo, Senator Binay. As for centralized delivery of laptops, computers, wala. It's part of the common use supplies and equipment na the government agencies can purchase sa DBM procurement
Hindi,
service.
pero yung, kunwari, naka-order na si PFDBM, hindi ba dapat bahagi kayo dun sa nag-i-inspect dun sa delivery para makita kung baka may mga siningit silang dun sa loob ng computer na yon na at any given time pwedeng i-activate nila kung ano man yung nilagay nila dun sa loob.
Sinasabi ko, Senator Nancy. Isa pa, makasingit pa lang muna, Senator Nancy. Is it true na sa loob mismo ng Camp Aguinaldo, meron daw pong tower na itinayo doon yung dito na it's a Chinese company? Have you monitored that? Meron ba mismo sa loob ng Camp Aguinaldo?
Actually, siguro, Senator Tulfo, just to share, hindi lang yan sa Camp Aguinaldo. In fact, even in the other camps, meron silang permission to construct
them. We're not safe.
Diba?
Safe.
Pero si Commissioner Cordova would know. Kasi
So you know what I'm talking about, sir? Yung sa Aguinaldo, yung tower nandito, na alam naman natin, malaking presyente na nagmamayari mga Chinese investors. Bakit po pinayagan to? Di ba dapat nagtatanong muna sa inyo? Mukuha mo ng permit sa inyo. Bakit niyo po napayagan na bigyan ng permit?
Actually, Senator Tulfo, I think it's by agreement po with the Armed Forces of the Philippines because they have the jurisdiction inside the camp po.
Even with the agreement of the AFP, but you can also give advice. You can also go up as far as Malacanang and talk to the President. Say, Mr. President, it's not safe. We would advise that na military installation, maglalagay tayo ng tower dyan na pag-aaral ng China na pwede mag-spy sa atin at any time. So malalaman nilang galaw ng ating military. Kaya pala, ang kampante yung China na gumalagala dyan sa West Philippine Sea kasi monitor nila ang galaw ng ating mga military. Maaari siguro nagagamit na yung tower dyan na nakalagay sa loob ng Camp Aguinaldo. Tapos may data installation. Di ba?
That's possible po, Your Honors. I think we already took it up po before with the National Security Council, and the National Security Council po ang nag-audit po niyan.
Okay.
I would have to check po yung audit ng National Security Council before, Your Honor.
Pero again, gentlemen, ladies, well po ako na dobrin trip po ng budget ninyo. Kung magkano yung hilingin nyo, susuportahan ko po yan, baka dagdagan pa. Kasi matatakot po ako. I fear for my country, I fear for my people, I fear for my family. Na one of these days, pagising natin, iba na naman sa Pilipinas. That's possible. I'm not scaring people here. That's possible. Na mag-create sila ng chaos to cyber attack in countries that perceive us as enemy. Especially now, lumalala yung sitwasyon natin sa West China, sa West Philippine Sea. Yun naman po. Sige po, kung susuporta po ako sa inyo, ako po ay maging masugin yung taga-suporta para madagdagan po yung inyong budget. At yun nga lang po, nakakalungkot yung budget na before. Masana po para sa confidential budget ata yun or Intel budget na pambiling sana ng kagamitan in all. Ikunurakot lamang po. 400 million natin, tama? Habulin niyo po. Habulin niyo at mag-file po kayo ng kaso sa Ombudsman against those people responsible. Salamat po. Madam Chair, maraming salamat po, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator Tulfo, for your insights. Really, cybersecurity is our concern now. Aside from the subscribers of course, the NTC, ano na po yung hotline nyo ngayon?
Ma'am, it's ano po, 892-67722.
Hindi ba pwedeng iklian yan?
Actually, ma'am, we're already fixing that. But what we did po was we issued an advisory. It's through email po, ma'am, because kailangan po namin ng screenshot noon pong nire-report and yung pong identity na nagre-report. So we already issued an information drive on that.
No,
on that.
I think you have to coordinate with the telcos to get a shorter number.
Yes,
You
ma'am,
can
we'll
do that,
po.
di ba? Yung,
Yes, ma'am. This is a
kasi ganito yan, pag tumawag sa inyo, sasabihin ninyo, ito yung email, ipadala nyo dito. But they have to be able to reach you immediately. And kung meron kayong hotline, pwedeng ipadala imbes na email through other apps, Viber,
Yes.
o kaya through regular SMS na di ba?
Yes. Actually po, can I add, Your Honor?
Yes, sure.
We're already coordinating for 1682, Your Honor po.
Ano?
1682.
1682.
Opo, pero hindi pa po natapos po ng coordination with the telcos.
Ang hina mo naman sa telco?
Kasi po we're making sure po na okay po siya and nag-work, so we have to test it. But in the meantime po, we issued already press releases and information drive po for the email po. Yun po kasi ready na po siya agad.
Okay. Siguro pwedeng bawasan yung budget ng NTC, bigay na lang sa iba. Yes, ma'am. You are raising your hands? No.
Thank you, Your Honor. Actually, I would like to request, Your Honor, if I may continue with my presentation, because the DICT has 6 mandates and connectivity and cybersecurity is just 2 of them. And we have 4 other mandates, Your Honor. If we
Ano
can,
yung mga mandate na yan?
policy and planning. One of our major directions is really to create a data-driven governance. That's why we have created data centers. The second, which is close to my heart, is ICT Industry Development, the creation of jobs, which is very important because during the pandemic, it was the ICT industry, including the gig economy, that really carried the whole country. The next is countryside development. Thank you to the 18th and the 19th Congress for creating the DICT. This is the department that really reaches out down to the provinces and the cities.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Certainly, those are very important. But can you make it short?
Yeah.
Let's start now. Do you have a presentation?
I will be continuing with my presentation, Your Honor. And In order to cut short the presentation, I will no longer discuss the accomplishments, but I will go direct to the targets. Okay. So our targets for developing a data-driven governance, this is one of the key direction of our new team at the DICT. It's really to create a framework where systems in government are interoperable and seamless and citizen-centric, because the secretary sees that most of our data systems are really government-centric but not citizen-centric. So data center, Madam Chair, may I ask the USEC in charge for data center? We currently have 4 active government data center which houses 102 government agencies for their cloud hosting services.
It's cloud hosting. So let's say COMELEC, yung information ng mga voters, ganyan, nandito yan sa data center na yon?
Yes, Your Honor.
So what government agencies are you housing now in the data centers?
Madam Chair,
Sector.
actually we have 100 plus agencies hosting the GovCloud and 26 agencies co-located with our data center facilities. I'm not comfortable in sharing which agencies are these because they for privacy and security purposes, Madam Chair. But
Hindi naman kukunin yung information na sino lang yung naka-house ninyo.
okay. Yes, actually, one major project is the PhilSys.
Ano?
PhilSys.
Ano?
PhilSys,
National
BIR,
ID, okay.
Di ba, Madam Chairman, hindi ba dapat gawin ng eventually mandatory na all data should be centralized to DICT?
Your Honor, if I may I request our Secretary, Ivan Uy, to explain, because that is his plan to really create an e-government system. Secretary.
Secretary is recognized.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Actually, the DICT would need to consolidate many of the islands of data and information that's residing in all the different systems across the government bureaucracy po. Currently, because of the situation where each department in the past were involved only in developing their ICT systems within their silos, they had a free hand in designing the systems, and this type of implementation resulted in dysfunctional data management. So we need to provide a systematic data governance policy where the entire government follows world data standards in terms of format, in terms of harmonization, in terms of interoperability. And in order to make them interoperable, these data have to be shared seamlessly across all the different departments po. And that's where the data centers would come in.
Madam Chair. Sec Uy, so eventually, DICT would play a major part when it comes to sa digitalization of government. Because in fact, dun sa DBM presentation, talagang part of the major programs yung digitalization. But in the previous government, parang hindi man lang kinoconsult yung DICT pagdating dun sa ano ba yun, yung mga when it comes to technology development dun sa agency na yon, na in fact, di ba yung nagkagulo-gulo pa dun sa Stay Safe, na parang yung DICT parang may sarili, yung ganitong yung DOH may sarili din niya. But ngayon ho ba talagang DICT would exert, kumbaga flex their muscles, na dapat talagang kayo yung lead agency when it comes to technology, na kung may bibiling software ang isang ahensya, dapat with consent and approval from DICT?
Madam Chair, with your permission.
Yes, Mr. Secretary.
Yes, correct po, Senator Binay. That really is the mandate of the DICT, precisely why the DICT was created. So that empowers the DICT with all these mandates to consolidate the ICT programs and digitalization effort of the entire government, as well as empower by building up capacity with respect to our workforce and our industries. And on top of that, of course, as was extensively discussed on cybersecurity po. So we have many e-governance projects that are online, and as everyone has heard during the first SONA of the president, digitalization will happen, and it will have to be implemented all throughout the government agencies. What has happened in the past, where there has been disparate implementation and discoordinated implementation of all the different ICT projects, should not happen anymore. The DICT will take a very, very active and proactive role in ensuring that government works as a team and that information is shared all throughout to minimize all these red tape and all this disconnect, where we often see that the government's left hand is not talking to its right hand.
And siguro, do you think there's a need to include a special provision na dapat anything to do with digitalization, dapat may consent or approval coming from the ICT?
Yes, ma'am. Uh, there are two areas actually that the DICT can do. One is that all the information system strategic plans of all the different government agencies are supposed to have been approved by DICT before they are given their budgets. However, the DICT in the past has been remiss in delivering this on time, no, the approval of all these ISSPs uh, for one reason or another. So we are building up that capacity within the agency to be able to thoroughly review all these information system strategic plan to make sure that they jive with our minimum data standards, our minimum cybersecurity standards, and procurement standards. So something like outsourcing the procurement to DBMPS for, let's say, laptops of the DepEd should be thoroughly reviewed by the ICT in terms of its technical specifications vis-a-vis the intended output of those equipment or those systems.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Secretary.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor. To continue the response with regards to data centers as well as expanding and improving digital infrastructure, Your Honor, the targets of the DICT for this year and 2023 is to continue to maintain and operate the DICT's Network Operation Center, Government Data Center, 1,882 GovNet sites, emergency operations, and other emergency telecommunications. And to expound further, Your Honor, we have on Zoom our Undersecretary for E-Governance, Mr. David Almirol, to continue to explain the point that that we are trying to pursue in creating a whole of nation approach to e-governance, Your Honor. If we may recognize Undersecretary David Almirol.
Okay, Yusek Almerol.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, and to our honorable senators. Yes, part of our effort, Madam Chair, is to not only to unify but integrate. Ang naging problema po kasi in the past is everyone is trying to build the same thing. Yun po yung isang pinaka-problema po, no? Number two po is, imagine po every agency may kanya-kanyang data center, may kanya-kanyang contractor, may kanya-kanyang cloud services. So ang nangyayari po ay nagiging Frankenstein po yung ating effort sa digital transformation. Part po ng effort po ng under the e-governance po sa DICT is not only to unify but to integrate para po makatipid po tayo. Ang nangyayari ho kasi ay kanya-kanya po kasi ng request ng budget din minsan sa data center, kaya meron pong kanya-kanya po sila ng data center. Kaya kalat-kalat din po yung storage natin, pati yung information. So imagine po na may kanya-kanyang data ang every agency, pero kung titingnan nyo po yung situation, po pwede naman pong iisa o kaya po dadalawa para yung isa po ay para sa backup siguro, yung isa po yung ating pinaka-main na data center, then yung pangalawa pong data center, yun po yung backup natin. So part po ng effort po na pinag-aralan po namin with the help of Sec IBAN is to maximize actually the mandate po ng DICT po talaga is not only to integrate, to implement and to maintain, but also to unify the data centers po dito sa Pilipinas. So yun po yung isa po na pwede ho natin pong pag-aralan din po. And yun nga po, no, part din po ng integration, dapat yung meron tayong foundation. Kasi kung everyone is trying to do everything, everyone is shouting, maingay, I think it's better po that allow the ICT to shout, and maybe the other agencies also now will listen para po mas maayos po yung mga magiging project natin. Seamless po long term, hindi lang po pang mabilisan or parang puro short term po yung ginagawa ko natin.
Madam Chair, how secure naman yung data centers natin considering na laging kulang kayo sa budget?
May mga effort po ngayon. Dalawang klase po kasing security. Yung po yung nabanggit po ni Yusek Paul kanina. Of course, we have the CIC. At meron din pong cybersecurity po na separate ang DICT. Meron tayong tinatawag po kasi na infrastructure or hardware level. Ito po yung ini-install natin na mga hardware natin to protect in terms of cyber attacks. Yung pangalawa ko dito po na pwedeng gawin sa e-governance ay tinatawag na application layer. Ibig sabihin po nito, every website na meron tayo or every mobile app na meron tayo, every integration na meron tayo, pwede ho tayong maglagay din po doon ng tinatawag na mga listeners or parang gwardya. Para sa ganon, kahit hindi pa nangyayari yung attack or sinusubukan pa lang na ina-attack yung mga website natin, database natin, dapat natitimbrehan na ho tayo. Ang pinaka-problema po kasi in the past sa Pilipinas ay nagiging reactive lang tayo. Kumbaga saka lang ho tayo gumagalaw kapag nandyan na po. Kumbaga na-atake na ho tayo. Maganda ho sana na under the e-governance, lahat po ng mga technology natin ay hindi lang po basta gawa ng system or website or mobile app or mga iba-ibang klaseng mga solution, pero dapat naka-embed na po dyan yung data privacy saka cybersecurity. So hindi kasi pwede pong mag-build ng isang technology na kalimutan mo yung data privacy saka cybersecurity. Dapat po sabay yan. Kaya po under the...
So, you said nga, do we have sufficient funds for that? Kasi napansin ko yung, I think NPC, zero yung capital outlay nyo. So, paano kayo bibili ng gamit for that kung wala nga kayong capital outlay?
Ayun nga po yung problema po, Madam Senator, kasi po ngayon po sariling sikap po ang DICT. In fact, nung pong chinek ko din po yung ating capacity, yung ating research and development capacity. Kasama po dyan yung cybersecurity. Kulang na kulang ho tayo sa tao. Ang isa pa ho na problema, aside sa budget po, ay medyo sobrang baba po ang sweldo po ng mga IT ho natin sa DICT. Kaya ho, wala pong nag-i-stay, walang sustainability. Kaya po sana with your help, baka po naman matulungan nyo kami on how to expand not only sa budget, pati po sa upskilling, which is under kay Yusek Yusel, para po talagang excited naman po yung mga IT expert natin na mamalagi naman po sa DICT para may sustainability. Yun po, kulang po talaga po sa budget, Madam Senator.
Okay. Madam Chair, yun lang din. Same observation as the budget of MTRCB. Dito din sa DICT, may mga zero yung capital outlay. So, di ba, parang kunyari, mid-year, makakita tayo ng funds. Kaso lang, since zero nga yung capital outlay nyo, hindi rin natin pwedeng i-augment. So, baka there's a need to put, hindi naman siguro ganun kalakihan na amount, pero wag lang naman din siguro zero. Yun lang po.
Siguro we'll go na to the next.
Thank
What's
you.
the next?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, that was for expanding and improving digital infrastructure, and I mentioned, and it's also in the slide, the different ICT infrastructure and facilities that are being managed by the DICT. So, we also intend to complete by next year the National Emergency Communications Plan, the DICT-wide Public Service Continuity Plan, and establish the Emergency Alert and Warning Messaging System and the Early Warning and Broadcasting System. For purposes of government emergency communication
Meron
system.
na yun? Tinetext tayo? Hindi pa ba yun?
The Early Warning Broadcasting System.
Ano naman yun?
Asik Philip?
Thank you, Yusek. Madam Chair, the early warning broadcasting system is an added feature to our digital TV. This technology provides an alarm to our television sets whenever there is an impending emergency. The Office of Civil
And how can you
Defense.
do that? Does it entail cost, or you just tell the networks? Or
It's there's a protocol which have been actually I think agreed upon by the NDRRMC through the Office of Civil Defense, Your Honor.
okay.
In terms of calamity and emergency situation, Madam Chair, as of June, we were also able to hand over 6 JECs, or Government Emergency Communication System, mobile operations vehicles for emergency movers in the cities of Davao, Metro Manila, Dao, Batangas, Tacloban, and Butuan. And we want to increase our numbers, Madam Chair.
Before you continue, no, with regards to that emergency vehicles, I know I have that here. Parang you're not able to utilize all of them because may mga problems pa for permits. How many did you say you have? 6? Pag may calamities, di ba?
As of June, Your Honor, yes.
So what happened? But some of the equipment cannot be utilized due to lack of permit to operate and inadequate training. And there was a delay in the delivery of some of this. So explain to us, anong nangyari? Magandang project, pero daming na-flag ng COA, not to mention that you actually plan to procure more. So I understand that there are 6 JECs move sets with the intent to procure at least 3 more. This time, how are you going to ensure proper procurement? And out of the 6, how many are actually operational?
To answer you, Madam Chair, as to the every JECs move sets po naman are operational. The problem is the registration of the vehicles. I think isa yun sa nung nag-start kami pumasok dito sa DICT, nakita agad namin yung problem with the procurement of the JECs move set. As of now po ma'am, hindi pa po siya na-register sa LTO.
Ano bang kapabayaan yan? How many, I'm not saying it's your fault ha, because bago lang kayo, but, ha?
Madam Chair, gaano complicated ba yung magparehistro ng sasakyan? Di ba usually nga pag lumalabas yan, parang okay na?
And yung naging problem po kasi dito, yung JECs move sets were procured through the World Food Program. Outside the country, pinrocure ito kasi there are certain technical specification which yung sasabi is hindi daw kaya ng Philippine market. Yeah, that's correct, right? Diba? So, yun yung problem. Now, nung tinransfer, nung dinala yung JECs moveset here in the Philippines, nagkaroon ng problem when it comes to customs in paying the dues. And because hindi pa nababayaran yung dues na yun, doon nagkakaroon ng problem with the registration with the LTO. And nung
Sino nagbabayad ng dues? Dapat DICT.
Yun po yung
magkano yung dues na, well, hindi pa rin yan. Alam mo, yung utilization rate ninyo medyo mababa pero so bakit?
And ako, Madam Chair, ang concern ko dyan, apparently parang ano ba to? Grant ba tawag doon? Yung technically we got it
Donation?
from World.
Ano po, it's our own fund po. Based po dun sa naging pagsasaliksik namin about this.
Bakit napasok si World Food Program?
Kaya inilipat po kasi sila daw po yung may capability at may to procure yung technical specification na kailangan
So
for
naging
that.
procuring agent niya si World Food Program?
Naging procuring.
Marami silang tie-up na ganyan. Meron din sila sa UNDP para dun sa free Wi-Fi. Pero supposedly UNDP is not also able to deliver. Anyway, okay. So how do you plan to fix this? Sino magbabayad sa customs?
As to dun po sa problem with the customs dues, we are studying po the possibility na mag-allot po yung DICT ng fund for that para lang at least ma-register na natin sa LTO itong first 6 JEX Move project. As to the next 3 projects, since the funds, may funds na po kay World Food Program, baka po ituloy na natin dun yung next 3. But the remaining, and based on dun sa kausap ko sila Asik Philip about this, meron na daw po na kayang mag-provide ng ganitong specifications here in the Philippines. And ang goal po namin is kami na po as the DICT, kami na po yung mismo magpo-procure nitong mga remaining JEX Move.
At pakita mo nga sa akin, ano pa itsura nitong JEX Move? Sasakyan ba to? Ano ba to?
Ito po. Bali po yung JEX Move, it's a set. Meron kang isang 4x4 na may nakalagay dong satellites. Tapos sa loob meron pong motor din itong kasama. I think pati anong tawag doon? Drone and a van. Yung purpose po kasi nito is pag may disaster, aside from yung pakain, yung food, number 1 ano po is communication also. So maganda naman po talaga yung
So magkakasignal.
Magkakaroon po ng
So
signal.
parang portable satellite.
Yes po.
So parang SpaceX rin.
Parang SpaceX.
Pero yung SpaceX nagkakaroon ng problema, di ba? Supposedly they're not able to deliver on their supposed capability to connect. Di ba sa US, parang the US government stopped negotiations with SpaceX. Am I correct?
Asik Philip po.
Are we working with SpaceX?
Yes po. Ang intindi ko po, Madam Chairman, yun lang kasi there was a request from SpaceX to the US government for some subsidy. Yun ho atang nagiging problema.
Ano? There's a request for what? Bibigyan from the US.
Yeah, from the US government.
Oo.
Ngayon yung pong ang intindi po rin namin, yun pong availability ng kanilang signal dito sa Philippines will be next year po. Parang meron silang plano kasi before na this year sana, pero hindi po ata matutuloy next year po.
Okay, so the JEX move sounds necessary. Nasa budget naman ninyo to, di ba? Okay, let's move on to the... Senator Lauren Regarda is recognized. She's present online. Go ahead, ma'am. What's next?
Thank you, Your Honor. So in terms of bringing the government closer to the people, as of June 2020, the DICT maintains or continues to maintain the operation of GovPH, Business GovPH, Data Bank Business GovPH, and we also provided continuous enhancement to various governance systems such as VaxCert, Tower Watch Portal, and the Philippine Startup Innovations Portal. Our target, Your Honor, in 2023 is to continue to maintain operations of these national portals to promote and also to promote the use and portals and systems that we have developed. We will train 12 agencies next year on how to upload content in the Open Data PH portal, integrate 60 additional local government units and national government agencies to the Philippine Business Hub, and link 20 more LGUs to the Philippine Business Data Bank, and integrate 2 additional agency systems. In terms of e-government systems development, to sustain our efforts against the COVID-19 pandemic, we will be continuing our efforts in maintaining and streamlining our vaccination database. The Vaccine Information Management System, or VIMS, was developed and is being implemented in line with RA 11525. Our targets for next year, Your Honor, is we aim to develop and implement the following e-government systems and solutions. e-government for local government units, the e-government for digital payments, the sectoral systems and solutions planning and evaluation and monitoring for all ISSPs, government to citizen systems, government to government systems and solutions, and internal systems for government-wide use. We also intend to conduct user workshops and roadshows for e-government and implement activities and establish an e-government portfolio database and analytics
Okay, ma'am.
throughout the country.
How many LGUs are now using your systems to process permits, licenses, etc.?
May I refer this to
May I answer that?
Yusek David, our eGov Undersecretary.
Okay, go ahead,
Madam
Mr.
Chair.
David.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
How
Madam
many?
Chair, currently, marami pong nag-subscribe. We have around 905 LGUs. But this is focused more on the business permit and licensing system. Right now po ay nasa 500 plus na po yung live na gumagamit nito. At ang plano po ay ma-enhance pa ho itong bagong system na ito kasi po business permit pa lang ho ito. Hindi pa ho
No,
talaga
so,
po kompleto.
so kunwari nag-subscribe yung isang LGU, kayo yung nagkahawak ng cloud information nila. Ganun ba? What service exactly do you provide them?
And Madam Chair, nagbabayad ba si LGU sa DIC?
Oo.
Wala pong bayad po, Madam
So,
Senator.
anong service? Paano?
So,
Give me an example.
Once na nag-subscribe po sila, Madam Chair, kami po yung mag-train at mag-install at magkakaroon po ng workshop po gamit po ng IPBLS. Kami po yung bahala po dun sa cloud services, Madam Chair. So, ang gagawin na lang po ng LGU, gagamit na lang po sila.
Kunwari, San Juan, nag-subscribe sa inyo, so tuturuan nyo sila para kung meron mag-a-apply online for business permit, yung kanilang infrastructure maayos na, pati yung application, user-friendly, ganyan.
Yes, Madam Chair. Kompleto na po siya, Madam Chair. So, ang gagawin na lang po ng LGU ay gagamitin na lang po at siya na po ang bahala mag-promote sa kanyang nasasakupan. Ganun na lang po yung gagawin po niya, Madam Chair.
Okay, so what you provide is technical expertise.
Yes, Madam Chair.
And the
Including
software. And the software.
Okay. That's good. That's interesting to know. Very, very promising, ha? Kung 905 and then about 500 are already now in active participation. So, all right, that's good news.
To add also, Madam Chair, just to give a little bit of excitement also on the effort po ng e-government, ay hindi lang po to BPLS. Ang problema po kasi sa BPLS, isa lang po ito sa 15 na major transactions ng isang LGU. May bago ho ngayon, ang pangalan po ng bagong ila-launch natin before the end of the year, ito po yung tinatawag na ILGU. Ang ibig sabihin ng ILGU ay andito na po lahat. Kasama po yung business tax, real property tax, civil registry. Nandiyan na rin po, Madam Chair, yung mga iba-ibang permits, yung mga sanitary permit, construction permit, para po mapabilis po, Madam Chair, yung pag-issue ng permit. And ang goal po natin, Madam Chair, ay hindi mo na kinakailangan pumunta na ho sa City Hall or munisipyo para lang pumila doon at mag-print po ng business or yung mga permits mo. Kahit nasa bahay ka na, Madam Chair, pwede mo na pong i-print po doon.
So, Yusek Almerol, bago lang kayo sa DICT, ano?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Pero at least parang naiintindihan mo yung trabaho mo. Ano po yung background ninyo?
Ako po ay full stack programmer, Madam Chair. So, ako po ay...
Salamat.
Opo.
Oo. So, actually, dapat isa sa malaking issue kasi ngayon yung underutilized funds ninyo. And I think the reason for that is the lack of foresight of maybe past leaderships. So, kasi this DICT naman was formed lang in 2015. Medyo bago lang talaga yung DICT compared sa iba. Dati DOTC kasi. Now, my question is, you have, let's see how many, you have about 2,264 in your manpower, 639 presidential appointees and regular plantilla employees, 259 co-terminus, 40 consult, etc. Ilan po ang IT experts natin sa DICT?
Madam Chair, on the R&D side, medyo sa ngayon po ay nasa 100 plus po, pero karamihan po dito ay job order, Madam Chair. And sad to say po ay marami po nagre-resign for one single reason. Mababa po yung kanilang mga sweldo. Sad to say, Madam Chair, ginagamit po yata ng mga mga IT po na track record lang ang DICT at before na mag-abroad. So, yung sustainability po din, Madam Chair, ang naging problema. Kaya konti lang po yung natitira, Madam Chair, na expert natin ngayon.
Alam mo, you're handling valuable information and also guarding a system for security. If your employees are mostly temporary, casual, job orders, yung technology natin baka mag-leak din yan sa iba. So I really think the ones that are handling delicate systems and information should be permanent employees. Di ba po? Nag-propose ba kayo na taasan yung budget for compensation of these o hindi?
Part po ng ask namin sana, Madam Chair. Under po kay Yusel po yung upscaling, Madam Chair.
Bawasan na lang ninyo yung sa NTC. Hindi yung sa hindi dun sa personal services nila, yung MOE na lang nila. Hindi, teka muna, yung meron kayong sinking fund rin, di ba?
Actually, wala po. Everything that we
Nilaramit nyo pa
collect,
sa
we remit
lahat.
to the National Treasury. But actually, ma'am, a big part of the amount that we collect is the spectrum users fee. Ano po ito? Called SUF. It's pwede pong hingin ng DICT for the free Wi-Fi project, ma'am. So last year, that's around 6.5 billion, Your Honors. This year po, mas mataas po siguro ang makokollect namin. Mga 7.5 to almost 8 po. So last year po, we collected for the SUF 6.5.
Palang nako-collect
Pero
yung...
kailangan specific lang to free wifi yan?
Yes, ma'am. It's by law po.
Oh, okay. Ayun naman pala, Madam Chair. Pwede naman pala sila kumuha dun.
So bakit di kayo kumuha doon? DBM pa rin ang mag-a-apply.
Ano po yun, ma'am? Sayang because it's there. Kaya pwede po siyang gamitin. So, every year po tumataas po yun because the telcos are regularly paying, and dumadami po kasi yung equipment that they use, and yung, if I may show you later, yung capital expenditure nila tumataas ng tumataas. Like for example, Globe last year spent 123 billion for capital expenditure. So, ano po yun? Gamit sila ng mga equipment. So, nagmamahal po yung kanilang binabayad.
Your Honor.
You wanted to add something?
Yes, Madam Chair, regarding sa SUF, we have been proposing that the ICT be allowed to use it in other projects adjacent to free Wi-Fi, relevant to free Wi-Fi. Because right now we can only use it for free Wi-Fi connectivity.
How are we able to permit that? Who has authority to decide?
In the proposed special provision for
special provision in the budget?
The budget, yes.
Sino kami?
We had a proposal before. Actually, it was adopted in 2020.
Kasi actually, you funneled in money to the PSDBM eh. In 2022, you had a transaction with PSDBM which needs further clarification. How much did you transfer to before I go there, no? Ito naman PSDBM. Yusek David Almerol is the founder and CEO of Multisys and developer of Safe. Can you tell me about Multisys? What is this?
Multisys po I was the founder po, Madam Chair, and the CEO before. A month and a half ago po nag-resign na po ako as part of the compliance. Medyo matinding decision po.
Oo nga. Pero ano yung stay safe? Ano yung stay safe?
Ang stay safe po ay binild po yan ng Multisys at dinonate po yan. Actually po, isa ko yan sa dinodonate sa DICT before sa DOH. Kaya lang ho medyo pinagpasapasahan po yan dati. Kaya po ang nagtanggap po ng donation po ay CDILG po ang nagtanggap ng donation. Ang isang concern ho nila dati kaya nahirapan silang nahirapan silang tanggapin si Stay Safe as donation kasi libre po yan, Madam Chair. It's part of our, part din sa private sana na makatulong sana sa pandemic. Kaya lang nahirapan po kami, Madam Chair, na mag-donate that time, to be honest with you. Kaya
Ayaw nila ng libre, gusto nila may bayad.
ang well, I don't wanna say bad word, Madam Chair, pero
Say it. May immunity dito pagka official proceedings. Anyway, we just have to make sure that there's no conflict of interest. Syempre, I understand the situation. The best people to lead a particular agency is somebody, a stakeholder also, somebody who understands the industry. That's why you're there. But I guess transactions should be transparent and above board para hindi kayo mapaghinalaan dahil nga meron din kayong sarili ninyong kampanya. But, you know, I'm glad you decided to join public service. You just have to be careful kasi syempre there are others that are speculating, you know, this and that. So, fair warning lang po. Okay, but I'm glad you're there. Yun lang.
thank you, Madam Chair.
Madam Chair, balikan ko lang yung fund because I think dun sa budget, nagkaroon nga ng special provision na wala ng cap. Nagamit niyo ba? Kasi baka yun na nga, babalik na naman tayo ulit dun sa utilization since you're not using the fund. So, hindi binibigay sa inyo.
Madam Chair, actually, we're using the fund for subscription ng free Wi-Fi program.
So, magkano nakuha niyo from that, ilang billion yun, Commissioner?
For last year, ma'am, it was 6.5.
So, out of the 6.5, magkano na yung nagamit niyo for this year?
For this year?
For 2020, it was 5.2. And for
2020. Kasi diba parang dun sa presentation niyo kanina, yung sa free Wi-Fi, 1.5 lang yung binigay sa inyo. Tama ba? And you requested for 11B. But with this fund, ang laki na yung ma-augment sa inyo pag ginamit niyo tong pondo na to.
Yes, Madam Chair. To answer your earlier question about kung magkano yung nagamit, out of the 6.5, yung nagamit for 2021 was I think 1 billion, around 1 billion, Madam Chair. 1,049,000,000.
Baba din, which means, Madam Chair, parang technically pwede pa kayo maging aggressive dun sa free Wi-Fi nyo kasi there's this 6 billion na fund na pwede nyo gamitin for free Wi-Fi. Na technically hindi siya part ng Sagaa or NEP. It's a totally separate account that you can have access to.
Your Honor.
We will, so who would you talk to? The DBM, no?
Yes, Madam Chair. Actually, before we can use the funds, we have to request sa DBM, Madam Chair.
Okay. If you were really very passionate about the free Wi-Fi, something that the secretary should be able to talk to the DBM about. So we'll talk to them. But with the indulgence of Senator Nancy, I just have a few questions here that I want to get rid of just to sign off on this budget. I'll be remiss if I don't ask this. Unang-una, in November 2021, an interagency probe was created to address the problem of smishing and other tax scams. Given your mandate in the CICC, lead investigation, ngayon lumalabla ang mga scams, wala pa rin nanilinig ang publiko sa mga nangyayari sa investigasyon nyo. Has there been any probe or progress, Yusek Ramos?
As we have earlier, ma'am, mentioned, we're asking for an executive session so that we can disclose fully what our findings.
Okay, we can do that. But how many have you investigated? How many?
6 syndicates.
16?
6 syndicates.
6 syndicates. O sige, that would be an interesting topic. We would like to hear from you. And then, with the National Privacy Commission, how much is your budget for next year?
Our budget, Madam Chair, is 200 million.
200 million. Now, we always hear you're supposed to require the appointment of a data protection officer. is required by law for LGUs, government agencies, and the private sector. And the DPOs must then register with the NPC. I suppose these are the ones that have access to our information. Like, let's say, Globe and Smart. If we approve this SIM Registration Act, they will have a repository of information. Now, are they required by law to register their DPOs to you?
Yes, Madam Chair. Actually, we just issued NPC Circular 22-01, which is the administrative fines of the National Privacy Commission, wherein an organization without a DPO can be fined by the National Privacy Commission.
Okay, that's good to know that everybody that handles it, privacy informations should have a DPO.
Madam Chair, anong fine nyo? What would be the fine?
Oo.
Eh kasi baka sa sobrang walang kakwenta-kwenta yung fine, parang okay lang sa kanila na
The
hindi
fine
naging
po,
compliant.
Madam Chair, is 0.05
25 to 3%.
to 3% of the gross annual income. Yes po. But under the law po kasi, sa Data Privacy Act, there's a cap of 5 million. So we follow the 5 million cap per
Sa
act.
government agency.
Yes po, Madam.
So, kunwari, for example, yung Senate, wala kaming ganyan, pwede rin kayo ma-fine?
Yes po. So, but subject to appreciation po. Ng, ang Senate, meron ata. We'll check po.
Wala.
Ay, wala daw.
Magandang maging programa din nyo, you to send out notices to all government agencies na parang
actually-
hindi kayo compliant, ha?
Actually, Madam Chair, we send out notices, especially to LG, kasi medyo malabo, mahirap na compliance yung sa LGUs. So we also partnered with DILG, but every time kasi nang nag-change, every 3 years, pag nag-change yung mayor, for example, ulit na naman po. Ang hirap pong, opo.
Di ba siya plantilla position?
Usually kasi po, even in the private sector po, the DPO is just an add-on to, for example, usually,
Would you recommend na gawin na siyang parang ano?
a plantilla position in government would be
Or
mas maganda.
baka maybe parang setup ng DOF, di ba? Sa LGU, sa kanila nanggagaling yung treasurer. Tama ba? Yung treasurer?
Agree
So
po.
baka something like that na parang hindi sila attached dun sa LGU but
Parang
attached to a national agency.
Attached to a national agency and plantilla na po sana yung position. Usually kasi ngayon, kung sino yung trusted ni mayor, siya yung
Ayun,
DPO.
hindi rin natin alam, baka wala naman technical capability
Agree
din
po.
yung ina-appointing
Dapat meron kayong guidelines. Who should be qualified to be a DPO? Dapat may NBI clearance, may technical know-how. Wala ba kayong ganon?
Actually, we have advisories and guidelines, ma'am, regarding dun sa appointment ng DPO. And we also conduct trainings, ma'am, to different government agencies.
So when they register their DPOs, are they required to attend the seminar?
We have DPO-ACE, Madam Chair.
And what?
We're in DPO-ACE program wherein we train DPOs assigned by the corporation or government agency.
But they're not required to attend, right?
They are not required under the law.
Do they pay if they attend?
No, it's free po, Madam.
Okay, that's good. Wait,
Madam Chair, hindi pala tayo compliant.
Wala nga daw. Wala daw po. Upon checking, wala daw po ang Senate.
So there has to be some problem with your notices. You have to be visible. You have to give enough time, like 30 days from now, and then 10 days from now, and ganon.
Yes
Diba?
po, Madam Chair. Actually po yung fines namin, it's naging effective lang siya this September, no? September lang po. So, we're slowly, kumbaga, since effective na siya, we can enforce na other yung corporations without DPO and government agencies po. Kasi before, prior to the administrative fines, wala pong may power si NPC but hindi takot because wala pong fine.
Walang takot sa NTC.
Yun.
Lalong-lalo na yung mga LGU. Alam niyo
Yes,
naman, yung mga LGU, kanya-kanyang republic yan. But siguro, tingin niyo ba, doable yan na kaya niyong i-enforce na talagang each LGU may ganyang officer?
Actually, what we do before po is nakipag-partner po kami sa DILG. So, there's a joint MOU with DILG para po for the enforcement po ng data protection officers ng bawat LGU.
Hindi nga, kasi baka hindi rin naman kaya ng LGU. Kunyari, for example, sa liblib na LGU, baka walang gustong mag-apply for that position.
Pag wala po kasing DPO, automatic po the head of the agency po yung magiging liable in case of, yes po.
Oo, meron kayong protocols. Okay. Yung ano, kung may utang ang Senate na 5 million, bawasan na lang natin yung budget. Yung 5 million. No, I'm just kidding. Okay, again, I want to talk to DICT David Almirol, USEC. Kasi may mga feedback dito na dahil sa Stay Safe app, doon nag-leak yung data na binenta sa mga casinos. Yung mga pag-register natin sa Stay Safe. So have you looked into this?
Ang nangyari po, Madam Chair, naibigay na ho namin po yung full access sa DILG. So basically po hindi na po kami yung nag-handle doon. Pero in terms of like managing that po, in fact, ang request ko nga po sana, Madam Chair, baka po makatulong po ang DICT ulit po doon. Kasi po, in terms of control at ownership po ng data po at system ay wala na po sa private, nasa DILG na po.
So pag nag-register kami doon, yung information namin napupunta na sa DILG ang may access, hindi kayo. Hindi, I mean, hindi Stay Safe.
May access pa rin ho kami kasi po kami po yung tinutulungan namin sila minsan na pag may mga upgrade po sila. Pero ang nagmamanage na po ngayon na fully po ay DILG na po, Madam Chair.
Pero why would they say na nag-leak galing sa inyo? Did you find anything that points to that?
I don't think so, Madam Chair. Kasi sa amin po talagang in terms of like data talaga, yan po yung number one po na priority namin. Kaya po, there's no way po na magkaroon ng leakage po sa side ho namin.
Apparently it was, I'm not saying it's you, but whoever are your technicians, supposedly may have sold our information to casinos. Yun yung ano So maybe we can have that as part of our executive session. We can discuss it. I'm not saying it's you. I mean, I'm glad there's an app that you developed and gave to the government. But then of course we have to clear the air when it comes to these issues. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing our job in the DICTs. The NTCs under our committee. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
One more thing, and dito na tayo sa NTC. There's a sheer drop in your 2023 NEP mainly due to the lack of capital outlay. Bakit wala kayong capital outlay sa budget nyo? Isn't infrastructure essential in developing telco systems in the country?
Actually, ma'am, we have a request po sa DBM but it was not included po.
Magkano? Bakit? Ano yung request ninyo for what particular infrastructure?
Meron po kaming list, ma'am. It's around total of 179 million.
Ano yan? Just give me a big ticket item.
For example po, for Region NCR, Central Office, Regional Office NCR 1 and 4A, procurement of ICT equipment and upgrading of structural cabling system within the office po.
So parang administrative na naman to.
Automation po.
Automation. Bakit para i-register yung
For ano po yan, ma'am? For processing and
mga permits?
Yes.
Okay. The net mesh project of the NTC and DOST was made to measure the internet quality of service providers in regions 1, 4A, and 12 with an allocation of 39 million in 2018. Remember, Nancy, magte-test lang sila ng magte-test sila ng quality, internet quality, 39 million. Tapos, under your COA review, the platform in Region 12 has been unused as of December 2021, while the other two have had inconsistent results. Malaki ang nakalaang budget para lang matest ang internet speed, pero hindi pa rin maayos ang resulta. Ano ba nangyari dito?
Actually, umanda na po, ma'am. We can submit the results to you po.
Umaandar na.
Yes, ma'am.
O sige, salamat naman kasi ilang taon na rin yan.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, under your COA review, a total of 8 million worth of disaster response tools was unused by NTC in 2021. The Commission procured 4.8 million for the multi-bank network scanning receiver and 3.2 million for the rapidly deployable communications equipment for regions 1 and 4A. These were equipment that were supposed to provide critical communications, connections, internet, radio, etc. in case of disasters. Ayon sa report, hindi raw nagamit dahil walang guidelines mula sa central office.
Ginagamit na po, ma'am. Meron na pong guidelines, kompleto na po siya. It's being used already.
Okay. Noong nakalipas na lindol sa Abra, maraming mga telcos ang nag-offer ng mga estasyon para sa libreng tawag at Wi-Fi. And these are valuable projects because we all know that in times of calamity, communication, posible ba na magkaroon ng partnership o agreement ang NTC sa mga telcos na magpadala ng mga ganitong klaseng tulong tuwing sakuna?
Your Honors, we already have a memorandum order for that, and every time po that there's a calamity or kahit po pending pa lang, like for example, there's a typhoon, we already issue memorandum orders para po maghanda po ang mga telcos para sa parating na sakuna, for example, storms or typhoons. And then, nandun na rin po lahat ng requirements na kailangan lang gawin. Spares, diesel for their generators, mga people po, pinapatanggal namin ng leave, para po ready po sila, and then yung pong mga deployable cell sites pagka po kailangan. So, we learned from Yolanda, ma'am.
Okay, in the recent study made by the cybersecurity firm Surfshark, the Philippines ranked 55th in the world in terms of digital quality of life, dropping 7 places from last year's rank. While mobile speed and broadband speed improved, our biggest weakness is internet affordability, wherein Filipinos are paying expensive rates for mediocre quality of internet connectivity. So what is the NTC's response to this? And do you think more competition? Well, never mind that. What is your response to this?
Actually, Your Honors, we would like to update you po on the latest UCLA. So far po, our kakalabas lang po nito yesterday. This is by crowdsourcing po. Ito ang ginagamit po ng lahat ng bansa. It's for fixed, we are at 78.33 mean speed po, 78.33 Mbps. That's for fixed. At sa mobile naman po ay 22.35. So there's improvement, ma'am, because of the competition. Naglabas po ng capital expenditure for the past 5 years sa mga telcos because of the pagpasok po ng dito. But actually, ma'am, in terms of affordability, ang isa nga pong nabanggit ko kanina, in other countries, we will submit a list po. The government really puts up the hard infra, which is the broadband. So, ang nangyayari po, kunwari, you talk about Singapore, you talk about China, you talk about other countries, I can get it. They are really putting in expenditure because what will happen po would be the telcos would just be leasing from the government. Kaya po OPEX lang po sila. And sa atin po kasi, it's purely private sector driven as of this time. For example po, ma'am, for Taiwan, for this year, they earmarked 3.8 billion para sa infrastructure development in 2022. Sa USA po, 100 billion over 8 years.
And that's government initiative.
Yes, ma'am.
And sinasabi natin sa atin ang kailangan natin 100 billion.
Hindi po, meron pong computation po sila.
100 billion, di ba? For the entire project. So that's about $2 billion, right?
Yeah.
Well, more or less.
Ito po sa US is 100 billion US dollars po, ma'am.
For over 8 years.
Over 8 years.
And then yung sinasabi mo, Singapore is how much?
Taiwan po is 3.8 billion for its forward-looking infrastructure development program in 2022. UK po, 6.9 B dollars. Thailand is 143 million US dollars.
Bigyan mo ako niyan
Yes, ma'am.
na ng kopya para we can reference to that. That's exactly it. So
yan po ang
when you think about it, 100 billion sounds staggering, but compared to other countries' expenditure, it's really not much considering
yes, ma'am.
tayo nga archipelago pa, no? So medyo mahirap.
May I add po? Yun po kasing binanggit ko kanina, speed ay I think more of sa mga centers po yun. So because of the entry po of Starlink, actually Starlink applied with us. After they got their certification from the ICT, we gave them their license in 30 minutes. So they are very happy.
Oh,
we need
good.
po tayo ni
Yeah, that's my next question, Commissioner.
Opo.
Since the passing of the Public Service Act, have there been an increased interest in applications for
Actually, ma'am, the first one po na lumabas is yun pong Starlink.
Wala pa after that.
Meron pong iba from Europe but hindi pa po nagfo-formalize. Nagtatanong pa lang po. I think there was a request for us from the I think French embassy for a group to go here.
You know, you should have a road show actually. You should invite these companies to come in. Coordinate to their office if there's anybody who expresses interest but are still unsure about it. I mean, we can help. Imagine we have more than 100 million people with cell phones, right? So the potential to expand, subscribers dito, kung tao lang, ang daming tao dito, di ba?
Actually, ma'am, ang marami po would be homes. Because of the cell phones po naman, siya prevalent. But yung pong homes, during the pandemic, it was discovered by the industry, that's why Converge did well, was yung pong sa houses po.
Ano yung fixed?
Fixed,
What do you mean houses?
Fixed, fiber to the home po.
Alam
Fiber
mo
to
ba
the
na yung Converge nga, gusto ko pumunta sa bahay ko, hindi naman pala pwede. So there are some areas na hindi. I don't know why there are restrictions.
I think, ma'am, some of the villages ay may ganun pong like for example in Forbes, they are not allowed inside. So actually they filed a case before us dati po sa malls, so they won already but they were brought to the Supreme Court. So pending pa po sa Supreme Court yun. But ang aming pong position, everyone should be able to provide anywhere para po there is competition.
Okay. For now, we will set 1 minute suspension.
May I just make my closing statement?
Mahaba ba?
No, Your Honor. Actually, I have not reached my portfolio yet. Because all our discussion was focused on infrastructure and connectivity and not on digital innovation. So I just would like to put on record that 99% of the budget of the ICT is on infrastructure and connectivity. And all the digital innovation sectors such as upskilling, countryside development, job generation, policy development only share 1% of the total budget, and that is my portfolio. Those 4 areas, admittedly, I am not equipped with connectivity and infrastructure knowledge. My lens is as a countryside advocate. I founded and chaired the National ICT Confederation of the Philippines, composed of 80 provinces and cities around the country in 2008. And we were just dreaming and wishing for a DICT so that we will have digital jobs in the countryside. And our main goal is really digital skilling. And when the DICT was passed, we felt that God has answered our prayers because now we will have a competitive edge in the countryside for purposes of bringing the digital jobs to outside of Metro Manila. And so with the help of the Senate, by passing the DICT and even the CICT time, we were able to move at least 40% of the jobs that were all found in Metro Manila to a as far as Mindanao, Luzon, and Visayas. And so part of our HIRIT, Your Honor, earlier I was listening to you and you asked the other agency about their wish list. And we also have a wish list because previously our budget was slashed into half. We asked for 70 billion, but we were only given around 40. And our approved budget is now 8.8. So our wish list, Your Honor, is an additional 8.8. And if I may appeal for my portfolio, this additional 8.8 will go really into digital
Wait a
literacy.
minute. The total budget of the DICT is how much? 8 billion?
Currently,
No, how much?
currently is only 9 billion.
Okay,
Your
9
Honor.
billion. Okay, now, what's this 80 billion I'm hearing about? Ano yung sinasabi mo na you need?
Sorry. Sorry, Your Honor. The original budget was 40 billion and we were slashed by 31 billion. So what we have is 9 billion.
Okay, so what's this wish list? Connected to your advocacy or the agency in general?
The agency in general, Your Honor, but we have submitted a letter to the Department of Budget for an additional, not necessarily, Your Honor, the one that was taken from us, but just an additional 8.4. And for this 8.4, this will really go to earlier you're concerned about cybersecurity experts, software developers that will help us.
Just submit that to me.
Yes, Your
Because
Honor.
even if you tell me that, that will just go over my head. I wouldn't
Yes,
really be
Your
able
Honor.
to study that right now.
Yes, Your Honor.
So submit. But before we end, let's talk about your advocacy. How were you able to move those people outside of Metro Manila? Exactly what role did you play? What role did the DICT play?
Your Honor, so one small bureau in the DICT is called the Ict Industry Development Bureau. And for the last 6 years, the Ict Industry Development Bureau has actually harnessed together with the IT Business Process Association of the Philippines a scorecard ranking cities according to 4 metrics, which is talent, infrastructure, cost of doing business, and government support. So based on this scorecard, Your Honor, we were able to identify 6 centers of excellence, including my city, Bacolod. You have Davao, Cebu, Iloilo, Clark, and Manila, of course. And then we were able to identify 10 next wave cities. You have the likes of Cagayan de Oro, Dumaguete, and now we are actually in the middle of what we call the Digital Cities Program 2025, where we assist 31 cities to create their digital roadmaps. So these digital roadmaps, Your Honor, are actually used to pitch for these different cities and provinces, Your Honor, because in the past, prior to the creation of the DICT, the local government units, especially in the provinces, really do not have any form of support as to how to clinch a foreign market. But today, the DICT is hand-holding these 31 cities, and we will be adding more cities in our list to be able to link them with foreign markets so that jobs are dispersed in the countryside.
So, okay, digital roadmaps. Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
So what you're saying is, for your city to be viable or attractive to potential locators and investors, you need the following. Give me an example. What do
Okay,
you
so
tell them to have?
another bureau, Your Honor, aside from the ICT Industry Development Bureau, another very important bureau, which has a very small budget, is the ICT Literacy and Competency Bureau. And we are actually excited because during the last Congress, the Senate has passed the RA 11927, or the Digital Competitiveness Workforce Law, which declares to the world that digital skills should no longer be just the ICT.
Question: what do you do? Do you send people to train? What exactly do you tell these LGUs?
Okay, so it's a holistic approach, Your Honor. First is we try to inspect and ascertain their talent. supply, such that we have the ICT Literacy and Competency Bureau. So the DICT is in charge of designing and deploying different forms of digital skilling programs, from certifications to short-term courses to online courses to face-to-face, and even through formal courses in partnership with the likes of UP and DAP. So what we do is we have a digital skills survey that's also tied up with our policy
Okay, now,
bureau.
infrastructure. Let's say, ma'am, ang daming talent dito pero mahina ang signal. Sino na ngayon kausap nyo sa DICT? NTC ba?
In terms of infrastructure, in the local level, Your Honor, we directly engage with the telcos.
Good.
Yes.
Kayo na, hindi NTC.
The ICT councils that are created by the DICT in every province engage with the local private stakeholder. So in the local level, Your Honor, we have what we call as MAGIC, making academe, government, and industry collaborate. So DICT supports the local ecosystem to create this environment where the academe, government, and industry collaborate. And part of industry are the PESA zone and the IT park developers, as well as the telco players.
Okay. Well, on that note, at least that's a positive note. I'm glad to hear that. You only have 1% of the budget, but that's something that we can be proud of, especially, you mentioned those provinces. You're from Bacolod. My mom's from Bacolod.
Yes,
I'm from Iloilo, and they're both in that top
yes, Your Honor.
Cities.
And may I just mention, Your Honor, finally, that as of today, we have 1.3 million IT BPM jobs, and we are closing 2022 at 1.4 million, and we hope to end the next 6 years by 3 million. And at this point, Your Honor, with your kind indulgence, our secretary would like to also give his closing remarks. Thank you very much, Your Honor.
You know, Secretary, you don't have to because we're almost having our session, but if you would like to say a few words, go ahead. It's already...
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes, sir. It's
Yes,
2:43 in the
only very
morning
short.
there. Yes.
Yes, Madam. It's 2:43 in the early morning po here. To realize these agendas, we need a substantial amount of resources. We stand so much to gain from these programs and their benefits, and we earnestly hope that our proposed budget will merit the approval of this committee. Now is not the time to sit back. The government should take the lead in pushing for digital transformation as we pursue equitable access to connectivity for the Filipino people. As ever, we commit to work towards a connected nation, and we hope to work hand in hand with the legislative branch to pursue this very grand objective. Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and thank you very much to the committee.
Thank you, Secretary. Actually, as I've said, it's quite refreshing to have somebody knowledgeable whose expertise is actually his background in leading this organization. So, well, good luck. We will make a more exhaustive review of your budgets and come up with a subcommittee report. So right now, this hearing is adjourned. Thank you very much.